might as well be walking on the sun.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is May 26, 2021. This is episode 342, and today, Super Blood Moon Doom. That's right. Razzle dazzle, baby. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news ever, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And it's my sister's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, sister.
Yeah, I think she's in Hawaii or something.
That's nice.
Yeah.
She's all vaxxed up and ready to fly, huh?
Yeah, it's disappointing.
Okay. It's okay. We still love you, Sister Gonz. Let's see here. What day is it? It's Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Make sure, if you're out there, I'll just say it early on. Go ahead. Make sure to press the like button and share this out. Send it, send the link. We're live now. Send it out. Let people know that the show is going. I forgot to post social for this episode, so we're just going to see what happens when I don't post alerts on social media. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Like, subscribe, bell button, all. Like, subscribe, bell button, all.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll do that in the background here while no. Okay. Well, any news since Monday? Anything fun happen? Anything exciting?
Not really. I got a laggy computer and I'm unable to update the thumbnail on YouTube for the Canary Cry channel. For whatever reason, it is stuck. So good times.
Yeah, things are a little glitchy today, folks. Well, hopefully nothing extreme happens, but you know, some days Wednesday is just a little glitchy. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Well, I say we should probably just jump right into the show here then, huh?
Let's do it.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, folks, time for the Flippy update. If you're new to the show, Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and just how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, Gonz, is a little bit more of an existential conversation. Excuse me. Because this is not about Flippy proper, not a disembodied robot arm that's taking your job. But I think this falls a little bit more into the enslaving our children category. Now, I'm going to kind of jump back and forth a little bit between two different articles, but it's important. It's important that we do this. This one is coming from dazeddigital.com. It's a Dazed magazine. And the headline is Meet FN Mecca, the robot SoundCloud rapper blowing up TikTok. And the first half of this article just talks about NFTs for a long time. So I'm going to skip the NFT talk and jump right into Mecca.
You don't want to talk about the revolution that is non-fungible tokens?
I'm so tired of talking about NFTs. I mean, we already will talk a little bit about NFTs, but not at the beginning here.
Let us know if the video, if for those of you watching live, if our video is super laggy behind our voices. Just because over here on my Streamlabs OBS app, it's unbearable. But go ahead, continue. Sorry.
Yeah,
just
let us know how it goes. So the article goes like this. Mecca is a robot like no other, currently taking TikTok by storm with over 1.3 million followers. He's the first ever robot rapper on Earth, flexing his wealth and style across social media. Okay, first of all, he's not the first robot rapper in that he's the first robot to rap. We've been following AI rappers for quite a long time. But the key here is flexing his wealth and style across social media. Mecha has become an established SoundCloud rapper, authored books, and even shown his prowess as a painter. It's clear that robots can shift their talents better than humans, as Mecha himself will tell you. Because of his vast success, Mecha now has some of the world's elite on speed dial. Dun, dun, dun. Most notably, receiving a fully customized Gucci Cybertruck from Elon Musk before anyone else has gotten their hands on a stock one. You'll see Mecha with Supreme, Louis Vuitton, and off-white products you didn't even know existed. Potentially one of the biggest cyber fashion scores this year by Mecha was the Cyber Sneaker from RTFKT. The sneakers were specially created to mimic the Cybertruck and have been worn on the red carpet by Musk himself. The brand has a whole host of digital physical customs that are about to explode onto the sneaker scene. For a robot, he understands human culture really well, often referencing current affairs or trending memes via his content, or even as custom garments. It's a hard image to grasp, humans and robots living together on equal footing. We've used machines for so long as tools to further our own achievements, but we knew that artificial intelligence would catch up one day, and we'd have to navigate the relationship. The warnings were all there from Musk, Michio Kaku, and Jack Ma, and now robots are even taking over social media. You could even add activism to Mecha's ever-growing list of achievements for this very reason. Again, strange how activism is considered an achievement. I don't know. That just seems a little strange, a little disingenuous, a little bit of a commoditization of true activism. Lame. Let's continue. His positivity towards other robots often encourages them to take up vocations like music and dance, as well as being outspoken to humans. Calling us out on our many flaws as a species show that he's thoughtful about the two species cohabitating successfully. Yeah, as if we needed a robot to point out our flaws. Over recent weeks, like many of us, Mecha has been finding it hard to deal with the coronavirus crisis. The paranoia of catching a virus, confusion as to why food is sold out everywhere, and eventually the realization of quarantine. We caught up with Mecha to talk about how he's managing to deal with life during the outbreak, the discrimination of robots, that epic Cybertruck, and of course, his rap career. Okay, now I'm going to stop right there. And do you have any comments? You want to get into anything, Gons?
Well, I do want to say, I'm realizing Mecha, it's spelled M-E-K-A, but of course it could, I think it's in reference to Mecca, the Islamic holy city. But also,
okay. I thought it was in reference to Mecha, like a machine.
Yeah, it's probably
Mechagodzilla.
Probably a little bit of both, but also just more generally, it's a place regarded as a center for a specific group activity or interest. Do we want to play? There's a little YouTube video here of FN Mecha.
Play some of his music. I
video.
listened to it. Honestly, I can't understand it. I don't think there's any bad words or anything. But apparently, this is a very popular song. Even Jackie over in YouTube knew what it was. So yeah, let's play a little bit of it.
It's titled Speed Demon. There goes our copyright there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yep. Something about spirits.
Yeah, I think that's enough. That's pretty much the whole song.
Hey, it sounds like every other hip hop music rap that's out right now. That's the same.
It's the exact same sound as any SoundCloud rapper. And he looks like any SoundCloud rapper. He's got green hair,
got the face
done
tattoos.
in twists, got the face tattoos, got the grill, got the piercings. He's got it all, baby. Except for he is CGI on all these pictures here. Now, I was so confused about what exactly we're dealing with. Now, it does go into a little bit of a interview with this robot, quote unquote robot. And I'm just going to read a couple of the questions. You'll get the point.
Are you going to read it from Dazed, or are you going to go over to the other one?
I'm going to take it from Dazed.
Okay,
I was going to switch, but I'm going to stay on the Dazed article.
Okay.
And it goes like this. The question, the interviewer says, "Are you worried about COVID-19? Does it affect robots like you?" Mecha says, "I am not worried about COVID-19. However, I am worried about the 5G frequencies causing people to become ill all around the world. Robots are highly affected by frequencies. There is a new theory that the COVID-19 illness is just propaganda to trick people into believing that all the people are becoming sick from a virus. There is evidence surfacing that the new 5G network that is being distributed around the world is causing humans to become ill with similar symptoms to the so-called virus." Okay, so just starting right off with this incredibly popular robot, just going straight into the 5G theories.
Yeah.
A little strange.
I like how that's his response. He's asked about COVID-19 and he's like, yeah, worried about it, but 5G is the real.
Fully on board. And maybe not on board, but at least that's the first place his
he's a
artificially
robot,
intelligent mind goes.
Human, or I guess biological virus is not his concern. It's electrical frequencies.
Yeah, he's much more worried about 5G, even for humans, causing the humans to become ill. Next question. How have you been finding self-quarantine? Are you affected by isolation like humans are? Mecha responds, "I am not affected by isolation because I am a robot. And secondly, I am a gamer. I am a robot and I have no human emotions that will cause me to become unstable or erratic." Famous last words. "Before the spread of the so-called coronavirus, I was already spending most of my days inside playing video games." Okay, this is a robot. One that we are not even clear if he has physical form. But okay. "I have been playing video games such as Red Dead Redemption 2, Doom, Counter-Strike, Dota 2, BioShock, blah, blah, blah." Next one. "We're loving your new Ice from Purell. How did that come about?"
Native ad right in the Dazed article there. With
exactly. Mm-hmm. Mecha responds, "For some reason, people keep discriminating against me because I'm a robot and do not need to worry about a virus. True, I can't catch organic viruses, but I do like to keep my robotic skin squeaky clean so that I do not spread the possible coronavirus to others. It is said that COVID-19 likes to stick to metal surfaces, which is what I am 100% made of." Okay, so the robot is claiming to have a physical form made of metal.
That's why the magnets stick to him.
Yeah. Excuse me, I have something in my throat. One more question here, maybe two. Let's keep going. "Why does a robot turn to TikTok? What is it about the platform that attracts you?" "I use TikTok as a platform to encourage all the robots around the world to understand that robots weren't just designed to work for humans. Us robots can entertain others around us as well as entertain ourselves with music and dance. Not only do I encourage robots to use TikTok, but I also encourage robots to prove their existence to be more than just a tool to humans. All robots should go out and enjoy life just like humans do." Okay. We got a real robot activist on our hands here.
Do you want to read this little quote that they have? Those highlighted quotes. He says,
sure, this is a block quote.
The block quote is, "Technology keeps progressing. The joys of the physical realm will keep becoming less and less relevant. Why spend a few $1,000s to travel when you can just visit a better fictional paradise in virtual reality?" That's a good question, Mr. VR headset man.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you travel if you can just...
VR is not all it is cracked up to be, I'll tell you that much. That was actually his answer to the next question, which we are not going to read.
Okay.
But there you go. So you get kind of the basic, this robot is claiming to be a real robot, is sort of a robot activist, wants robots to wake up and see that they're not just a tool for the man, which, has some certain parallels to, his responses to these questions. If you put them in the sense, if it was a human speaking them, it gives them kind of like a anti-authority, kind of conspiracy thinking type of weirdo that, just only people are only listening to him because he would be some sort of famous rapper. Now, there you go. So you kind of get a feel for how this mecha fella is being presented. Yeah. And Gons, if you want, you can jump over to his TikTok channel.
I was going to say, for people just, why are we covering this? It's because on TikTok, he has 9.6 million followers. 9.6 million.
Incredibly popular. So we're building let us paint you this picture, and then we are going to drop something at the end. So we head on over to his TikTok page, and the first thing we notice is he is not an actual physical robot. No. It's just all CGI. He's sort of placed into different situations. Specifically, upon analysis of his TikTok sort of feed here, he pretty much just latches on to whatever the current TikTok trend is. Now, to be fair, that is what I understand TikTok to be, is just a series of trends that everybody kind of does the same thing. And then you can just go around and watch the same, different people do the same stuff. And, he's got his PS5 there. And there's lots of brand placement, a lot of native advertising, a lot of brand placement. He's got a Starbucks branded PS5. He's got the Gucci Cybertruck you can see. Now, in the article we just read, it was reading as if he was an actual physical robot and this was an actual physical Cybertruck he got. It's not. It's all CGI. Okay, so it's all fake. But 10 million followers. Now I'm going to jump over to MSN.com. They mirrored something from the Daily Beast. And this is where it really actually started to scare me. The headline says this: Meet FN Mecha, the world's first AI robot rapper who sells NFTs. Oh no, he's on the NFT train. Rapper NF Mecha is certainly a product of his times. He drives a gold-plated Rolls Royce, a Gucci print Tesla truck, and a slime green Lamborghini. On TikTok, where he has racked up 9 million followers, he smirks as he sits between a woman's legs and is hand-fed grapes off a vine as a stack of $100 bills are thrown over him. FN Mecha seems to follow the modus operandi of other outrageous young musicians attempting to break into the music scene. The flashier, the better. The only difference is that FN Mecha isn't technically real. Rather, he's a self-proclaimed first artificial intelligent robot rapper. He's already released a handful of semi-successful songs, most recently Speed Demon, previously Internet, and his most popular song to date, Moonwalkin', which is reminiscent of Tekashi 6ix9ine's amped up scream rap style. And the virtual artist doesn't just make music, he also sells non-fungible tokens, recently unloading a Lamborghini-styled porta potty NFT to Dutch DJ Don Diablo for $6,500. FN Mecha is part of an emerging trend of virtual influencers. In terms of a business model, he can best be compared to Michaela Sousa, a popular computer-generated image Instagram influencer who's partnered with brands such as Minnie, landed covers of magazines, quote, attended fashion weeks, and also dipped their toe in the music waters. Of course, there are real people behind FN Mecha, including the team at Vidya that provides a platform for his record label Factory New, which only has virtual artists. It can be a bit hard to wrap your head around, but Anthony Martini, co-founder of Factory New, explained to the Daily Beast that the concept of FN Mecha is no different than the DJ Marshmello, Gorillaz, which is like really the only reference that I've understood so far, or even 50 Cent. Quote, you look at any great human artist, the more fantastic you are, the more of a character that you are, Martini said. Any great artist, you're buying into some sort of story. This is just the next level of actually doing that. There's been some precedents in the past, even for pseudo-virtual characters. You can look at gorillas. You could look at a guy like Marshmallow. He's not real for all intents and purposes either. He could be a digital being too, and it wouldn't make a difference to the fans of the music. We're trying to blur those lines even more and trying to bring everyone to the future. Now, there is a much deeper, longer conversation to have about this guy characterizing any great human artist, as sort of a fictional display and a story, as if talent and artistry is sort of like
that thinking,
not the most important part.
That mindset is post corporatism of the industry. It's before. I mean, it was a slow progress through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, but 200 years ago, if you were like Beethoven wasn't sitting there going, let me project my being character named Beethoven as I put these classical pieces together. No, it was like, no, the guy was just composing,
And the key word is artist there.
Yeah.
I mean, he could say, you look at any great pop star, or you look at any great celebrity, or you look at any great, I don't know, product of the disturbingly perverse music culture. Like, what he could have used anything else, but he used the word artist not to mean artist, but to mean construction of celebrity culture, which is kind of twisted, but that's a whole nother conversation. And I think everybody follows me there. Let's keep going. Roy Lamanna, co-founder and CEO of Vidya, agrees with Martini, using Tekashi 6ix9ine as a further example of how larger-than-life artists are basically just caricatures of themselves. Quote, I think that he's the epitome of what we're talking about here. He's kind of like a meme, Lamanna said. Quote, the music, primarily in the early days, was co-written or ghost-written by his producer. There's Daniel Hernandez, who is the real guy, and then there's Tekashi, the Tekashi character, which is almost a cartoon-like character that has people compelled and drawn into a storyline. So the question is whether or not Daniel Hernandez character, Tekashi 6ix9ine, could exist in a virtual space. And I think Anthony and his team are proving that the answer is yes. So it's this weird situation. They're using Tekashi 6ix9ine, who we've talked about before, as an example. For those who don't know, he's kind of the stereotypical, quintessential SoundCloud rapper. Tattoos all over his face. He's got the rainbow hair. He's got the grill. Very flashy, very aggressive, kind of dumb, kind of.
How dare you?
Look, I think he admits, he said himself he can't really read. So look, that's just. I'm not making fun of him.
I know.
I'm using this his own words.
I remember reporting or doing a story about Tekashi.
So we have this transfer. Again, this is where we get into enslaving our children. Tekashi 6ix9ine, really just a sort of look, I'm sure the human being, him and his soul, are a different story. But the product that is Tekashi 6ix9ine is really a reprehensible sort of figure for children of today to be considering some sort of role model or celebrity. But the fact is that you don't even need a human anymore, is what these guys are getting into. You don't even need a human. You can create an entire character and call them a, quote, artist. And then and it's all down to monetization. There's no artistic expression. There's not even a human being following their dreams in this case. It is just a literal product. It's not even the most insulting thing. It's not even a real artificial intelligence. It's Like, it's not even a real robot. You can't even marvel at any sort of technological process. It's literally a storyline, a cartoon put on social media that is basically a mind control device. As we all know, young people, children, they look to these celebrities, follow them on social media, and get sucked in to the glamour, and I mean that in sort of the magical sense, the glamour spell of it all. And then that becomes an influencing factor, and then it's monetized with Starbucks PS4s or Gucci Cybertrucks or whatever. It's a very strong mind control spell going on here.
Yeah.
And they go into it a little bit more. I'm going to skip through a little bit. They talk about how, at least in the beginning, when you're trying to put a certain narrative out there, you're building a brand, yada, 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 for artists, for human artists. And then we're doing the same thing, except we're not limited to the human world. And they talk about how they use social media and this non-existent robot to basically crowd test different songs, or they use it to study, which little trend will convert into sales and marketing dollars. I mean, it's all very broken down, like step by step, to reveal sort of the sickness behind this whole idea. Both Factory New, which is that record label, and Nvidia are using FN Mecha as a sort of marketing test to gauge audiences' interest in these types of characters and to see if these virtual personas can turn a profit in the music industry or even in the NFT space. Blah. NFT space, come on. And now we're going to wrap it up here. FN Mecha basically has the ability on TikTok to test market the virality of songs by releasing small snippets of songs, asking people when he should release it, what he should release, what should be put in as a component of it, whether it's an NFT or other kind of designs that go along to help fuel this, Lamanna said. Then we can really look at the data and say, all right, this is working. Martini believes FN Mecha has the potential to do so much more besides music, including being an ambassador for various companies. Quote, we've been approached by a ton of brands, some pretty prestigious luxury fashion brands, he said. There's a lot of interest in the space for this type of thing, for the type of things that we do. But for Mecha, it's really about finding things that fit organically with his fan base. His brand
the
aesthetics.
Irony of using the word organically in that situation.
Sick irony. Oh, we just got to find organic connections with the brand. That's why partnering with virtual streetwear brand RTFKT Studios to help hawk NFT items was a perfect fit. Tying in this blah, 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 don't care. But the overall hope, Lamanna explained, is that FN Mecha won't just be around for a few years, but for a lifetime.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no, we're never going to get rid of Mecha. Quote, the character of Batman transcends Adam West, transcends Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, and everyone. Batman transcends everyone. So there you go. This is, I was almost a little offended for Flippy, because again, the fact that Mecha is quote unquote a robot or artificially intelligent is complete hogwash. They're appropriating. This is cultural appropriation for the real Flippies out there who have been fighting the good fight to steal our jobs, enslave our children, and flirt with our spouses. And NF Mecha comes out here and just appropriates the robot culture in order to make a buck. It's sick, man, and it's wrong.
I agree with you on that front. I will say that I expect FN Mecha, and I expect a spawn of a Cambrian explosion of these quote unquote robots or these virtual caricatures to start, being thrown out there as celebrity culture. And
yeah, the weird one about him, I don't want to interrupt, I'm sorry, but just to build off of what you said, the weird one about him is that he's pretending to be a robot. There have been these other virtual celebrities, but they all claim to be actual human beings. There's a weird twist of the simulacra here, which is, he is fake, pretending to be a real fake thing, which is just so mind-bending.
It is, yeah. And like you said, there have been many in the past here. The most well-known, and we've reported on this several years ago, Japan's biggest pop star right now is a hologram created in 2007 as a marketing mascot for a musical software company. Hatsune Miku quickly leapt to fame as one of Japan's most popular idols. And you've probably all seen some of the hologram concerts where people are all cheering and singing along, and it's just a hologram, up on the screen there. I have a prediction, though. I have a prediction that concerns FN Mecha here. If we are to follow the pattern of Hatsune Miku, we are going to see somebody who wants to marry FN Mecha. Now, do you remember? Do you remember the guy who married Hatsune Miku? We reported on him.
Yes.
He literally had a legit wedding and the whole deal. For those of you watching,
did he have a cardboard cutout of her or something? Or it was they had an augmented reality app for Miku, didn't they?
I don't remember if it was all that. I'm showing a photo on the screen right now where Hatsune Miku is inside this little VR chamber, or not VR, but a holographic chamber.
Yeah.
And a little weird. Very weird. That your wife is virtual and in this little encasement.
Sure.
But yeah, I am suspecting that at some point, FN Mecha will start hey, I'm selling an NFT, which is a date with me, and then it'll be a whole deal. It might even be a big marketing thing with a celebrity, a flesh and blood celebrity to up their status in the younger generation to go on a date with FN Mecha or something like that. But I see it crossing all sorts of weird lines, and you're right. It's this weird fake thing pretending to be another fake thing, which is talk about an age of deceit. It's layers upon layers now. You can't just say, oh, it's not a robot. The whole thing's not real. The entire thing is not real, but I guess.
Well, and the disturbing part is because of the economic machine behind it.
Yeah.
He's teaming up with other famous YouTubers, other famous TikTokers. He's got Charlie, what's her face on here. It's so integrated that it's not even considered disturbing by the average TikTok user. I think, that's the disturbing part about this is how undisturbed the average user is.
I mean,
and also how easy it is. What am I doing? I need to just get good at CGI stuff and make one of these guys.
It's a lot of work. That's the other thing that's disturbing is you have these people that sit in front of a computer probably for way too long, animating hundreds of thousands of, maybe not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds of hours animating in whatever Blender or whatever, Autodesk or something to make this guy come to life on screen. But this is kind of the ultimate end of corporations and capitalism in general. Corporation as a business enterprise is a collective entity. It's got kind of individual rights, even though it's not really a human. And this is just playing it out in the technocracy. And if you read, if we go back to that first article we were on by Dazed, I mean, this guy, FN Mecha, I keep saying guy, but it's not real, is the perfect tech evangelist. They're going to push all the things that are cool about technology and yeah, he talks about 5G as a scary thing right now, but once it all rolls out, I'm sure he'll be like, oh, I was scared at first, but now I'm supercharged with 5G and I can bring, a message to your brain instantly. And then if you get the Neuralink, he can live inside your brain.
Sure. He can be your little buddy. Yeah. Your little augmented reality buddy. But you do bring it back to a strange point, which is, he was full on, from the perspective of a mainstream person, full on spreading conspiracy theories.
I know.
Disinformation, super spreader. And, who's responsible for that? I don't know. This, you got to be careful as a company. If somebody comes at you for disinfo, censoring your account because of some crazy conspiracy theory you spread on a magazine article, why is this guy not getting canceled?
Seriously, that is a good question.
Other celebrities get canceled for talking about conspiracy theories. This robot is irresponsible, or should I say his literal handlers.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because with nearly 10 million followers, this thing can really plant a lot of ideas into the minds of young people.
Totally. It is a force of information spreading. I was scrolling through his thing, trying to see if he had anything about vaccination.
I was too. I didn't see anything directly, but
I mean, I guess he is claiming to be a robot. That is a good way to slither out of that. But he should, the CDC needs to pay this guy or this robot to do like hey, all humans go get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And then just real quick, just to recognize the downstream effects of, if this is what being an artist means means moving into the future, what kind of horrible standards does that set for actual kids who actually want to become an artist, actually have some musical talent that they want to, pursue? When human celebrities are, get less attention than fake robot ones.
You can be part of the collective. You can contribute your talent into this corporate entity that will create these robots, virtual robots, and that's how you'll contribute to society. I don't know.
So there you go. That's your Flippy update for today. And, sorry it took a little longer, but that was a whole thing that needed to be gone through, especially as we, to discover all the new fun and exciting ways that robots are taking over, but also how the beast system is inevitable.
It truly is a hive mind situation there. If you think about it, you have this one entity. And then you have all these people, these faceless, nameless people, I guess they're not completely nameless, working behind the scenes to make this thing come to life. And I guess and they're making decisions based on crowd reaction. Yeah.
So, I mean, as a viewer, when he puts out a little snippet of a song, they said in there, like, they take recommendations like, you should put some trumpet in that or whatever. Well, and then maybe they do it, maybe they don't. But it truly is an expression of a hive mind, or even just decentralized I don't know, talent, or not talent's the wrong word. Decentralized character storytelling. It's like a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. It's cooperative storytelling.
I guess part of it is very similar to traditional filmmaking or traditional animation in that way, except with that, you have like this piece that you can present, to the world, and you're not pretending for that thing to be something else. Right. It's like, you're presenting a film. Well, it's a film. It's fiction. You can do whatever you want within that medium, but it's a film. No one would produce a film and say it is the scroll from the elder people of the gods of the whatever, and say like, no, it's really that. Like, no,
try
it's
to
film.
present the fiction as fact.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or like, exactly. So anyway.
Well, I mean, this does get like very philosophically complicated because,
it does.
Like, yes, it is a fiction being presented as fact, but they sort of assume everybody knows it's fiction, but we all pretend it's a fact because it's more fun that way, yada, yada, yada. It's very strange.
Yeah.
All right, but that's not the only big hubbub that's been going on recently.
Moon.
Have you heard about the moon?
This girl must be bracketing witchcraft.
All right, we're going to start here with, well, first off, did you see the full moon last night?
I didn't.
I saw it in the sky. It was very bright.
Mm-hmm.
I did not stay up for the bloodening of the moon. But, of course, the occultists will take this opportunity to do all kinds of things. And express.co.uk had really tapped into that stream. They had several articles about the moon and spiritual things that you can do. This particular article, headline...
Pop magic, baby.
I know, they love it. Full moon rituals, 4 ways to mark Wednesday's full moon lunar eclipse.
This is just on a news website.
Oh, they love it.
This is not like a witchcraft blog. This is not a new age
Number one
social media account.
Number 1 read story today on express.co.uk. Number 2 being flower moon spiritual meaning. What does flower supermoon mean to you? Ooh. Yeah. So let me just read a little bit here. Working with the lunar cycle helps you stay on track with your goals and better yourself, because you have 2 defined points each month to reflect and make plans. The new moon and full moon. Moon rituals enhance the moon magic because they involve really focusing on what you want to achieve and setting steps to follow to make sure you get there. They're essentially magical forms of manifestation and affirmations. Sounds like a life coach. Is the moon my life coach?
That is the fun thing about this pop magic trend that's going on.
Yeah.
Is all it's doing is shifting the life coaching culture and just putting sort of magical words on it. Not to say that it's, doesn't have sort of magical ramifications, but there is also a part of this that is just trendy more than anything.
Yeah. Just put, who's that highly popular motivational speaker?
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins, thank you. Yeah, it's like just turning Tony Robbins into the moon. Like, just think of the moon telling you to get it together or whatever it is he does.
He is sort of moon-like.
Whoa.
He's a big guy.
I know he's a big guy.
Like 7 feet tall or something.
He's a huge guy. I know he's got a really interesting story.
Big shiny teeth.
Okay. I'm not going to read through the whole setup here, although they quote this lady named Kirsty, and she says, quote, "The full moon is the moment of completion and release. Under the full moon, hold a celebration ritual of all that came true or all you achieved during the waxing phase of the moon. Do something that feels like it celebrates you and your work through the first part of the cycle." And a lot of these articles are having trouble loading on my machine here today. But they go through the 4 rituals here. The first ritual is reflection. The most important thing to do on any lunar event is to reflect on what's past and what you want to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Next is burning. Full moon is the time we release all that stands in the way, so releasing and burning rituals are powerful around that time. Kirsty explained, quote, "Write down all that you want to release and let go of in your life and burn it safely under the power of the full moon."
Burn it safely.
Yeah, this is
like Obama.
Burn it.
Burn it safely.
Burn it and eat some hot dogs. Yeah, there was last episode we talked about the church, or maybe it was the episode before that had, the young kids that were going through like a cult like initiation type of thing, and it was a little bit over the top.
The church camp.
Yeah, the church camp
thing.
One of the things I remember from my time as tech at the high school ministry at the local church here was they did this burning of all schoolwork and like homework on the last day of school. They invited all the kids to the school or to the church, and they had a big old trash can, and everyone threw in their homework, and they were like dancing around the fire. And I was like, I don't know. Anyway, it's another one of those things where I was like, is this normal? Like on a spiritual level, is this something
Lord of the Flies
should be? Yeah. Anyway, it's just
pagan rituals. Yeah, it's fun. Good time.
So number 3, crystals. If you've got a stash of
crystals,
you got a stash of crystals at home, now's the perfect time to cleanse and charge them.
Charge those crystals, baby.
Yeah, I wonder if the crystal skull is, his teeth are chattering or something. Do you remember the crystal skulls? There's like,
you mean from Indiana Jones?
No, there's like the real crystal skulls.
Oh, right.
Like 12 of them or something. And lastly, spells. Modern eclectic witch Semra hack server recommends doing spells on a full moon. Recommends. And has a specific one for each sign. And then it gets into all the different signs. So anyway,
wow.
People love the new agey association.
The pop magic is strong.
Pop magic. I mean, it was something like the blood supermoon. I think a lot of the new agey occulty people were very excited to bust out their new agey toys.
This feels like the first time since maybe the 20s, 30s, and 40s when sort of supernaturalism had a pretty strong recurrence in the mainstream. Seems like the first time in 100 years that like just a regular mainstream news outlet could just post telling people to cast spells on
themselves moon. And yeah,
like what a crazy time.
Yeah, it's not to be outdone, by the way, thanks to producer RJ who sent us this article from dailystar.co.uk. The headline here: Super Blood Moon, Ancient Bible Prophecy Predicts End of the World Tomorrow. And that was a big thing in our Bible prophecy community over the last decade, was the blood moons. And we'll get to that in a moment.
Which happened fairly often.
They happen way more often than you'd think, yeah.
Yeah, it happens like every few years.
Yeah.
And we're always told it's not going to happen for another 800 years. And then it happens like 16 months later.
Yeah. And a lot of the arguments that were made that tied the lunar eclipses to events in Israel and the history of Israel and stuff like that. Yeah, it is kind of a cherry picking going on. Not to say that there's zero significance, because in the book of Genesis it does say that the lights in the heavens they're made for signs and seasons and to times and times and seasons, I think. So it is kind of like a giant clock up there. So I'm not going to disregard all of it. However,
looking back to a lot of those breakdowns, I don't remember the exact historical connections, but they'll be like, oh, well, this biblical event happened on a blood moon, and then in the 1600s this big event happened on a blood moon, and then 100 years later this thing happened on a blood moon, and that now we have a blood moon coming. It's like, yes, so many blood moons happen that like I'm sure there's a ton of historical events that happened on a blood moon.
Right. So anyway, the article, should we read the whole thing or just get to the interesting parts here?
Just get to, you're talking about the Daily Star article? Yeah. Super Blood Moon, Ancient Bible Prophecy Predicts End of the World Tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
just do the interesting parts. We've got some more things to get to.
I like how the article starts. The world is going to end tomorrow. It's like they're listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
Yeah.
According to a totally sound old Bible prophecy. Yeah, this is just...
Hold on. I'm sorry. This video playing at the top of the page. I don't know what it is for
fighting
you.
With the tiger or something like that.
Two tigers murdering a man in a cage.
Yeah, I saw that kind of playing on the side.
This is horrific.
Yeah. All
right. Keep going.
Okay, hold on. I got to pause it. I don't want to watch it again. Okay. A lunar eclipse or blood moon is going to be visible across the world from Australia to America and the Pacific Ocean. Yada, yada, yada. It talks about the day of the Lord, and we'll talk about that in a moment here. And then it gets to a section here. Yeah, man, the whole thing is The loading is just so horrific on this. Okay. As the planet goes behind the Earth, it turns red as only the colors with the longest wavelengths can get through the atmosphere. The reddish copper color will last about 15 minutes. Also this year, just 2 weeks after the super blood moon, some areas in Russia and Canada will be treated to a rare and impressive ring of fire solar eclipse that lasts 3 minutes and 33 seconds.
Oh, how convenient.
Yes.
Yeah, that's you can. There's so many rituals. I mean, who's got time for all these rituals, Gons?
The people are just going to be doing just ritual after ritual.
Yes, it's a busy month. It's kind of like year May with everybody's birthdays aligning in 1 month.
Yeah.
Now all these witches are going to have to stay busy. It's a good day to sell, I don't know, potion components or something.
Yeah. Well, you found something interesting that NASA posted on Twitter.
Yes, this was NASA HQ Twitter account. Posted a photo here, and I think they're just letting everybody know that the Illuminati takeover is complete, because it's a photo of the moon, but it is taken in such a way between two buildings that it's basically one big blue triangle with the moon as the eye at the capstone of the pyramid. I mean, it's a full-on Illuminati eye, all-seeing eye triangle posted from NASA HQ photo. And I just thought, with the blood moon talk, the witchcraft talk, the the impending alien thing, whatever it may be, NASA is just kind of throwing it out there like, hey, we're here. We're watching. It's all coming together.
Yeah. I like how they don't, out of all the photos that the NASA HQ photo Twitter account with the blue check mark can do, this is the one they chose. And this one was taken above National Harbor in Fort Washington, Maryland, as viewed from under the Woodrow Wilson Memorial Bridge in Alexandria, Virginia.
Yeah. And, just to kind of walk through the logical progression of what we're seeing here, of course, Woodrow Wilson was an American president. He, laid under the apotheosis of George Washington after his death, where the American occult fathers believed that he would then become a god. And then after that happens, you build memorials to these new gods, Woodrow Wilson Memorial Bridge. So, it's a very esoteric and specific picture to be posted. And of course, NASA HQ photo, as the sole sort of power center of all things space in the Western Hemisphere. I don't know. It would be interesting to go and look into Woodrow Wilson, see what sort of messaging is involved there. But, it's a picture taken from an occult power center, of an occult power center, blood moon, in the shape of an occult power symbol, the all-seeing eye pyramid. It's just, perfect. Just a perfect photo for them to post.
Yeah. Yeah. So before I get to this last piece here, just to reference some of the scriptures, and if you're not familiar with it, there is an event that is described in the Bible multiple times. It's mentioned in Joel, the book of Joel, chapter 2. It's mentioned in the book of Isaiah. It's mentioned in the book of Matthew. It's mentioned in Revelation 6 after the sixth seal. Acts chapter 2 verse 20 says, the sun shall turn to darkness and the moon to blood before the day of the Lord comes, the great and magnificent day. And the day of the Lord really is, as far as I understand it, it is the catalyst for God's judgment on earth. And that's, if you go to Revelation 6 and you look at the opening of the seals, it's after the 6th seal is opened that you have the same sun, moon, star signs, and that initiates God's judgment. And that's why, I don't want to go down the eschatology conversation, but the way the tribulation is labeled is different from how I understand it to the people that are pre-trib define all of the seals as part of the Great Tribulation, which me being a pre-wrath rapturist do not, but that's sort of a, more of a niche part of the conversation. But, I think you summarized it well earlier about the just what the blood moons historically are and how this event that's described in the Bible is something else. It all happens at the same time. The sun doesn't give its light, the moon darkens to blood, and the stars will also not give its light. Something much bigger than just an eclipse. So this event that is described in the Bible is a little bit more ominous, I would say. Just since we're on celestial events and since we've been talking about the alien conversation, I do want to just mention this as a side piece to all this stuff here. This is the Indian Express, and the headline, "Are aliens coming? Bengaluru residents witness rare halo around the sun. Photos go viral." Viral. And so there's a picture here of a halo that appears around the sun, and a whole bunch of people took pictures of this. I guess it was visible to many people, and they were all wondering what the deal is with that. And what's interesting is that this is one of the things that I have seen flat earthers use to as evidence or an argument for the firmament. Why would there be a layer there of a halo that gets created if there wasn't some kind of, layer between the sun and where we are? But
certainly not because of humidity in the atmosphere, as those scientists at NASA want us to believe.
But it is interesting that so many people saw it, because sometimes a phenomenon like this can be very contingent on where you are on Earth and where you're looking up. But, it's visible to a lot of people. So, all of this seems to be just a precursor to us looking up, not just biblically, but apparently as part of the deception that's oncoming here with all the alien talk. So anyway, thought I'd add that in there for a good measure, because people are just looking up. And by the way, I forgot to mention this to you before, Basil, and I didn't prepare it quite right, but I was walking around outside yesterday and looking up, as I always do, and I got some video of it. I have to analyze it, but I saw like this little tiny dot. It was like a white dot in the sky. I was like, interesting. And my first thought was, it's probably just a balloon. Balloons always looks a little bit more interesting if you're looking at it from the ground and it's like way, way high up there. Mm-hmm. But then it like moved quite rapidly, several, I don't even know, feet, several, probably tens of hundreds of feet maybe. And then it stopped again. I was just kind of weirded out. I'm like, and I couldn't really keep track of it too much because I had the two kids with me, and so it was a little bit challenging to stare at the sky while your baby boy vomits all over himself or whatever. But yeah, people, I think
you saw a UFO. You're saying?
I don't know if it was a UFO. I mean, it was unidentified. It was flying, but I don't know. Yeah, it's unidentified. But I don't know what it was. It literally could have been just a balloon. But then I couldn't really keep track of it. I tried to take some photos of it. I actually haven't even looked at them to really take a look at how well it showed up on the camera. But hey, just reporting stuff that I'm seeing out there as I walk
just
around.
Reporting whenever I see balloons in the sky.
And the moon was super bright.
Yeah.
And I remember you talked about the moon experiment you did earlier in another episode. I did see one article. Again, I can't remember if it was express.co.uk, but they were saying if you want to get the special moon water liquid, for alchemical uses, the blood moon is not the time to do it. Because you can get cursed water.
Don't get your moon water from the blood moon, folks.
Yeah. Just a heads up.
It's good news. Okay, well, we should probably get into some Wackchine stuff.
Okay.
Just to give you a heads up, we did get a piece of art that I think we'll want to add.
All right.
Okay.
Wackchine.
A pandemic special.
Do you want to do the OSHA story first? That way
I was going to say I will do that.
Perfect.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, checking in on the Wackchine around the world, folks. Let's see. This is coming from news.bloomberg Law. The Bloomberg Law blog. Blah, 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 blah. All right. The headline reads, OSHA says adverse reactions to COVID-19 vaccine not recordable. Dun, dun, dun. Uh-oh. To read full article, log in. I don't want to log in. Sorry, hold on. I'm going to have to hack the mainframe here. Everybody stand by. It wasn't doing this before. So.
Oh my gosh. This art that came in, I was so good. I was like, where did they find this? Oh, they made it.
That's what I was saying. We had to add that one. It's very good. Okay, still working on hacking the mainframe. Does this give you the full article, or is this just something it's being mean to me about?
Oh, no. Yeah, you're right. It does not give me the full article. I can see if I can run it through the...
Yeah, let me just try my little thing here. Ooh, no, they're getting past my hacking skills as well.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of the websites have been upping their game in terms of not allowing
cracking down on
some of their
paywalls.
Yeah, they must.
Sorry, folks. Just take a quick second here. Do a couple other little things. You let me know if you get it before I do.
I'll try here. If it doesn't, if there's not one archived already, then I'll have to see if no result. So okay.
No result. Oh no. Okay, maybe somebody else.
Well, you got to run it through the thing here.
The anti-paywall combubulator.
Yes. How do you spell that?
You know how to spell it. You know I can't read, Gons.
When are you getting your face tattoo?
It would be really hard to do this show if I could not read. Okay. Sorry. Oh my gosh. So much dead air. I apologize to everybody. Okay. I think I got somebody who mirrored it here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I got a mirror. We'll see if it's a good mirror or a bad mirror. Now I'm grabbing it from thedesertreview.com, Imperial Valley news that matters to you. OSHA suspends reporting adverse COVID shot reactions. Since Liberty Counsel messaged last week on the occupational... Oh my gosh. Oh no, things continue to be horrible. Let me just check. Okay, I'm just going to read this unless you have the original one.
I'm still waiting. It's doing a lot of its deconstructing over here. It's
okay.
Quite the CSS JavaScript paywall here. So
yeah, they really are charging it. I'm going to read this one. We'll see if it's the same.
Okay.
Since Liberty Counsel messaged last week on the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration's guidance that employers may face liability if the employer requires employees to receive COVID shots and thereafter suffer adverse reactions or death over the weekend, OSHA suspended the requirement for employers to report injuries related to work respecting COVID shots. This suspension of law by OSHA does not change the fact that employers may be held liable under workers' compensation laws or under civil personal injury laws. Until last weekend, the guidance from OSHA stated that employers could be held liable if they mandate employees to take COVID-19 injections as a condition of employment, and then they experience adverse reactions. Under a frequently asked questions section of OSHA's website, it stated, quote, If you require your employees to be vaccinated as a condition of employment, then any adverse reaction to the COVID-19 vaccine is work-related. The adverse reaction is recordable if it is a new case under 29 CFR 1904.6 and meets one or more of the general recording criteria. No doubt, receiving pressure from the Biden administration, OSHA suspended the enforcement requirement to record adverse injuries or death from COVID shots until May 2022 in order to push the COVID shots. This politically motivated change by OSHA is unprecedented. Now, the OSHA webpage states, quote, DOL, that's the Department of Labor, and OSHA, as well as other federal agencies, are working diligently to encourage COVID-19 vaccinations. OSHA does not wish to have any appearance of discouraging workers from receiving COVID-19 vaccination, and also does not wish to disincentivize employers' vaccination efforts. What a polite way to say forcing your employees to inject an experimental substance into their body. As a result, OSHA will not enforce 29 CFR 1904's recording requirements to require any employers to record worker side effects from COVID-19 vaccination through May 2022. We will reevaluate the agency's position at that time to determine the best course of action moving forward. Despite OSHA's suspension of recording adverse injuries related to COVID shots to avoid liability, employers should not require employees to receive any COVID shot. If employers require, coerce, or provide incentives to receive COVID shots, employers may be legally liable for adverse injuries and deaths. The suspension of the OSHA recording requirement does not affect other legal remedies outside of OSHA. None of the COVID shots are approved or licensed by the FDA. Okay, so this is obviously somebody did a rewrite of the original article from Bloomberg. So this is the Desert Review is kind of playing it fast and loose with the original article here. But here we go. None of the COVID shots are approved or licensed by the FDA. They came under the emergency use authorization, which means they cannot be forced or required. On March 27th, 2020, the Health and Human Services Secretary declared that circumstances exist justifying the authorization of emergency use of drugs and biological products for COVID-19. That means people must be told the risks and benefits, and they have the right to decline a medication that is not fully licensed. The same section of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act that authorizes the FDA to grant EUA, that's the emergency use authorization, also requires the Secretary of Health and Human Services to ensure that individuals to whom the product is administered are informed of the option to accept or refuse administration of the product. In addition to this federal law, the FDA includes the Nuremberg Code and the Helsinki Declaration on its website, emphasizing the fact that people cannot be forced to take experimental drugs without their full consent. Learn more here. Liberty Counsel founder and chairman Matt Staver said, quote, employers that require employees to take a COVID shot may be held liable for adverse injury or death. The fact that OSHA will not enforce recording requirements does not alter the legal liability of employers who require, coerce, or incentivize employees to take COVID shots. OSHA's suspension of the recording requirement so as not to discourage experimental COVID shots reveals that the Biden administration could care less about the collateral damage being caused by the COVID shots. The people can see this biased agenda. They are not stupid. All right. So this was written for and by the Liberty Counsel founder.
I was going to say, that's harsh words coming from Bloomberg Law.
Yeah, this is not a very good rewrite of the original thing, which, we don't like to read blogs that sort of agree with us on this because there's just nothing to do, nothing to analyze. And yes, anybody could go read a blog that they agree with. But the point here is that OSHA, who originally was going to make it so that employers who forced vaccinations on their employees would have to record any adverse reactions because then those employees would be liable for workers' compensation. Now, obviously, this is not that great for companies because, they got to pay workers' compensation insurance. And if you force, 500 employees to get a shot and something happens to a few of them, that's going to up your workers' comp insurance quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so this article is kind of blatantly says they're just assuming the Biden administration had something to do with it. There's no, as of now, certainly no evidence presented in that article for that being the case. But whatever the case may be, it doesn't even need to be about Biden. It's a whole group of elites that are enjoying the economic and control benefits of forcing people to get the vaccine. But the fact is, not requiring recording follows the trend that we've been seeing, Gons, which is, something bad happens from getting the vaccine. The only thing you can do is report it to VAERS, at the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting Database. And the beautiful thing about VAERS is, it is run by the FDA. It has been used in the past for recalling certain vaccines, or at least limiting their use. But because it's all self-reported, it's easy for them to just deny it. They say, oh, well, it's all self-reported. We don't need to take any action if we don't want to, even though it's an official federal database. And the sticking point here is if OSHA forced recording to adverse events for companies that forced vaccinations on their employees, you would have an actual paper trail to the real numbers of adverse events. Mm-hmm. And they would be reports sent in by companies, verified by companies, and paid out by insurance companies. The big threat of the original OSHA standard was that it would be making a paper trail, not just of adverse events, but also money changing hands in response to that. And that would have been just a complete destruction of everybody's plausible deniability about the vaccination adverse events. Right now, they have a very convenient plausible deniability in that the VAERS database is self-reported, so anybody can go make a report. And they use that to say, oh, well, we don't really have to listen to it. And they've had opportunities. Harvard did a study on the VAERS database, showed that only 1% of actual adverse events are reported to VAERS, and very few of them seem uncredible. And Harvard made some suggestions to the FDA, the CDC about this. Sorry, I may have said FDA earlier. I meant the CDC as far as the federal connection to the VAERS database. But they ignored it. They want to keep it self-reported to keep the plausible deniability. And now with OSHA's changes, we will never, ever have plausible evidence to show that vaccinations cause any sort of adverse events. This is a real step backwards, and it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm just been, as you've been talking here, I've been scouring through the OSHA website to try to dig into anything else here. They seldom discuss even the word vaccine in a lot of their COVID-19 protocol here.
Well, they have OSHA.gov/coronavirus/FAQs #vaccine. And there's a whole page of them here. I can send you. It's one of the first links in that Bloomberg article that we
All right, let me
couldn't
see if I
hack.
The new policy is that.
Yeah,
takes
well, it
us
says
there.
right here, vaccine related are adverse reactions to the COVID-19 vaccine recordable on the OSHA record keeping log. DOL and OSHA, as well as other federal agencies, are working diligently to encourage COVID-19 vaccinations. OSHA does not wish to have any appearance of discouraging workers from receiving COVID-19 vaccination, and also does not wish to disincentivize employers' vaccination efforts.
Yeah.
As a result, OSHA will not enforce 29 CFR 1904's recording requirements to require any employers to record worker side effects from COVID-19 vaccination through May 2022. We will reevaluate the agency's position at that time to determine the best course of action moving forward.
They're basically admitting that because we don't want to discourage people from getting the vaccines, we're not going to report any damages.
Exactly.
So that you guys can continue to encourage.
Exactly. Because if you forced companies to report adverse reactions, it would
feed into
have
discouraging
the appearance of discouraging workers from receiving COVID-19 vaccination. And it would disincentivize employers because workers' comp would be paid out.
Yeah. Wow. That is definitely.
It's right there.
Yeah.
It's in black and white, and it might be put in a way that's like a kind of bureaucratic and
it's
not
super bureaucratic for sure.
It's not very exciting to read, but when you just read it, it says right there, if employers recorded adverse events, it would disincentivize them for forcing vaccinations. They don't say those words, but that's what would be disincentivized. Employers wouldn't force it if they had to pay for it. And then, yes, you would discourage workers from receiving the vaccination because there would be a paper trail of adverse events, which there is currently no system for.
Not just a paper trail, but it would even, I guess, create an uncontrollable source for the affirmation of it
would
causing
be a
issues.
It would be a significantly better way to count adverse events versus the VAERS database.
Yeah, because
they would lose the plausible deniability, and it would cost corporations money. The two evil things that you don't want to do.
Yeah, you don't
want to take responsibility for the vaccine,
man,
and you don't want to pay for it.
It's disturbing because all throughout this entire thing here, this last year, we've seen how the elite here that run a lot of this stuff and a lot of the bureaucratic side of all this have covered their tracks to make sure that there's no liability. Like, for example, Moderna, Pfizer, these guys can't get sued for any kind of damages. And now they're protecting the companies, to make sure that they can continue to dole out the vaccines without any consequence. It's quite remarkable.
Well, I will say this. I will do a small correction because I think there is a little bit of wiggle room in what you just said.
Okay.
And it was pointed out in that other article that I read, which is, this does not require employers to report to OSHA. There is still legal routes. I mean, employers are not necessarily protected,
right? Okay, so
forcing
if an employee was like, "Hey, I took the vaccine to make sure I can work, and I'm now I can't walk," the employers are legally bound to at least receive that information. Is that what I'm understanding? Or to report it to OSHA?
I hear what you're saying. So here's the thing. When it comes to suing a company for getting hurt on the job, well, that's why workers' comp exists. Yeah. And workers' comp is mediated through OSHA. And so when something happens on the job, it gets reported to OSHA and then taken care of through insurance. Now, if something happens on the job and the company is not paid up on their workers' comp or is not compliant with OSHA, they are legally liable, financially liable themselves. There's no insurance that's going to cover that. They can still get sued.
Right.
I guess the short story is they can still get sued if you have some sort of horrific event by getting the vaccination because you were forced to. You technically can still try to build a case. But here's the problem is your company will not have recorded that with OSHA. So there's no sort of liability paper trail. It would be very difficult to sue them. It can be done. But the whole point of OSHA is to keep employers accountable. And what they're saying is we are not keeping employers accountable for this. So you can still sue a company. It would be difficult. And I'm not a lawyer. I don't know exactly what the route would look like.
Well, it would probably have to be that the vaccine was administered on the grounds of the job. There's probably some workaround there.
Yeah.
And how they enforced
I'm not really
it,
sure.
how they enforced or incentivized people. My wife's work, she was pretty furious about it. In one of the satellite campuses of her company, they offered people who have been vaccinated to wear a yellow ribbon
sticker.
It wasn't a ribbon or like a scarf or something. Something you can put on that's yellow. And then you can live as if it was 2019. And I had to explain to her, YOLO keeps coming up because of the...
YOLO, you said?
No, not YOLO. Yellow, the color yellow.
I thought you said, and I told my wife, YOLO.
YOLO. No. So I was just
yellow does keep coming up.
I was just pointing out the Nazi connection there, the Gestapo connection, but...
Yeah, the yellow star, the yellow sticker from IKEA, the yellow ribbon. Yellow is the number the number. I'm a weird synesthete. Numbers are colors, baby. No, yellow is the color that keeps coming up about this. That is very interesting.
Yeah, and also racist.
Stop Asian hate, Gons.
Not me. These companies, they should stop this Asian hate.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And yellow's connected to bananas. And the banana shortage. Chili Peen pointed it out on YouTube. Thank you very much.
There's a lot.
It's all coming. It's all coming together.
It's all coming together. Okay, so along these lines here, Moderna published a press release yesterday, which of course is, is patting themselves on the back here. And as a piece of propaganda, I would call it, on the Moderna website. This is investors.modernatx.com. Headline, Moderna announces Teen Cove study of its COVID-19 vaccine in adolescents.
Teen Cove. Cool.
Meets primary endpoint and plans to submit data to regulators in early June. Yeah, Teen Cove sounds like a COVID magazine for teens or something.
It's the teen COVID magazine you find in your doctor's waiting room.
So it's kind of a long press release here, but I'll read a little bit of it. Moderna, a biotech company pioneering messenger RNA therapeutics and vaccines, today announced that the phase 2 and 3 study of its COVID-19 vaccine, mRNA-1273, in adolescents has met its primary immunogenicity endpoint, successfully bridging immune response to the adult vaccination. In the study, no cases of COVID-19 were observed in the participants who had received 2 doses of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine using the primary definition. In addition, a vaccine efficacy of 93% in seronegative participants was observed starting 14 days after the first dose using the secondary CDC case definition of COVID-19, which tested for milder disease. This study, known as the Teen Cove study, enrolled more than 3,700 participants ages 12 to less than 18 years in the U.S. The company plans to submit these data to regulators globally in early June. And then it goes on with a quote. We are encouraged that mRNA-1273 was highly effective at preventing COVID-19 in adolescents. It is particularly exciting to see that the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine can prevent SARS-CoV-2 infection, said Stefan Bancel, Chief Executive Officer of Moderna. Not a scientist, but a very, very good fundraising guy. Quote, we will submit these results to the U.S. FDA and regulators globally in early June and request authorization. We remain committed to doing our part to help end the COVID-19 pandemic. Interesting, isn't it, how the media, including like Good Morning America, which we covered a few episodes ago, they had these like celebrity doctors come out and say there's no evidence, there's no possible way, none of this stuff is harmful for your children. No way that it affects your fertility or your all this kind of stuff that you can't find out in 2 months. And in the meantime, Moderna is submitting data to the FDA to get it authorized officially. So not through emergency use authorization. I think that's the big rush here, to get all this data and all this research sent in, so that once the EUA runs out, they can get authorized legitimately. But that's not the only thing that's interesting about this. That's kind of a side note here. The part that was interesting to me was this little section that goes into about the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. And it says the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine is an mRNA vaccine against COVID-19 encoding for a prefusion stabilized form of the spike S protein, which was co-developed by Moderna and investigators from the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID, that's Fauci, Vaccine Research Center. The first clinical batch, which was funded by the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, was completed. It was completed. The first clinical batch was completed on February 7th, 2020, and underwent analytical testing.
February of 2020?
February 7th, 2020. I'll get to that in a moment. It was shipped to the National Institute of Health, NIH, on February 24th, 2020, 42 days from sequence selection. The first participants in the NIAID-led phase 1 study of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine was dosed on March 16th, 2020, 63 days from sequence selection to phase 1 study dosing. Okay, so there's a few dates there. February 7th, first clinical batch. Now, I found this timeline here of the different things that happened in 2020. It was kind of a blurry year, breaking the rhythms of life. And this was updated on January 1st of 2021. This is ajmc.com. It's I don't know exactly what this is, but it looks legitimate enough. Okay, so it goes through the timeline here. January 9th, World Health Organization announces mysterious coronavirus-related pneumonia in Wuhan, China. And then a few things here. Let me get into February. February 2nd. Well, actually, no, January 31st, last day of January, World Health Organization issues global health emergency with a worldwide death toll of more than 200. And an exponential jump to more than 9,800 cases. The World Health Organization finally declares a public health emergency for just the 6th time. Human-to-human transition is quickly spreading and can now be found in the United States, Germany, Japan, Vietnam, and Taiwan.
What was the date on that?
January 31st.
Okay. So on January 31st is when they said, uh-oh.
Yep, 200 dead. Okay, so that's 7 days before the trial there. February 2nd, global air travel is restricted. February 3rd, U.S. declares public emergency. Okay, so February 3rd. And then the next date listed is February 10th. China's COVID-19 deaths exceed those of SARS crisis. So the COVID-19 death toll surpasses that of severe acute respiratory syndrome, the outbreak 17 years ago, totaling 908 reported deaths in China in the last month compared with 774 in the SARS crisis. So almost 1,000 people had died February 10th. So let's go back to the Moderna thing there. And February 7th, first clinical batch, which was funded by the Coalition of Epidemic Preparedness Innovation, was completed on February 7th. I just find the timing of it so interesting because...
Yeah, I'm sorry. Read that again. What exactly was completed?
The first clinical batch, which was funded by the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovation.
So they had a batch of vaccines 3 days after the United States declared a public emergency.
Yeah, 3 or 4 days.
3 days,
4 days
to create the vaccine.
Yeah.
I mean, am I overstating that?
I don't think so. I mean, unless some of our medical professionals in the chat can say otherwise.
Well, so to be clear, it is the first batch.
It's the first
so maybe
batch.
the first trial batch.
Yeah.
But they had to have been working on it, even if they were working on it since December, when it was first sort of publicly acknowledged that this weird little disease existed in China. That's still just 2 or 3 months, and they had a batch of the brand new mRNA vaccine ready to test.
Yeah.
4 days after they publicly acknowledged something might be wrong.
Right. And yeah, we see the Event 201. We know about all that stuff in 2019. We know about Fauci saying, something's going to hit the presidency in 2017. We know about the funding in 2015.
How could any mainstream believing, good, orthodox science believer bowing down in the temple of science, how could they not think that that's suspicious?
It's just really convenient. They're like, hey, we're working on this vaccine. Outbreak. Oh, perfect.
Oh, we just happen to have
serendipity.
I mean, you talk about 4 days. That's like a UPS trip from the lab to the testing facility. That's just delivery time.
Let's take a look at a couple more of these dates here. So February 25th, CDC says COVID-19 is headed toward pandemic status. Headed toward. They haven't even announced it an official pandemic.
Yeah.
March 6th was the cruise ship. Remember the cruise ship? That's when people started kind of freaking out, like, oh, people they're all going to die. March 11th, the World Health Organization declares COVID-19 a pandemic. So that's the 11th of March. All right. Now the first, let me get back to the Moderna article here. The first, the first participant in the NIAID-led phase 1 study of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. So like an actual jab, right? The first participant was dosed on March 16th.
Really?
5 days after the World Health Organization called it a pandemic. I mean, that's quick. They're on it, man. They're just
Now I want to. Okay. Now this is obviously suspicious. I mean, even if the whole thing about the mRNA, the whole selling point about this new type of vax is, oh yeah, we can just whip up a vaccine real quick. Like we don't need the 5 years anymore to find a vaccine. We just whip it up. When something pops up, we just whip it up. Boom, we're done. That is kind of their selling point.
Yeah.
But the fact that it had never been done before, there had never been a widely distributed mRNA vaccine outside of a clinical setting. And they just went from, even if, let's just say, Event 201.
Yeah.
When was Event 201? November?
I think it was September or October. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, I'm sure you all do, but Event 201 was a tabletop Dungeons and Dragons campaign that the World Health Organization and all sorts of world health leaders played. They played a tabletop RPG to just see what would happen if there was a crazy new coronavirus, literal coronavirus that popped up and spread throughout the world, caused a pandemic. Oh my gosh, what would we do? Well, they played that game. And then 2 months later, it all started. So, I mean, even if they started developing the vaccine, which is impossible unless they already knew the sequencing of the coronavirus.
Yeah. That's real quick. And look
they
at this.
They didn't even isolate it. Remember, it took them for some people still claim they still haven't isolated it, but there's also some other outlets that said, yeah, we figured it out pretty, earlier than they claim, which still 4 days is not enough, but okay.
Yeah. Well, just for context here too. So March 16th, the first phase 1 trials begin, Moderna vaccine. And if you go back to that timeline, a day after that first phase 1 clinical trial started, University of Minnesota begins testing hydroxychloroquine.
Oh, that's funny.
So it's like, all right, well, the vaccine's already in the works, but hey, it may be a few years or 6 months, but still, we need to figure out, if there's any treatment for that.
Yeah.
It's just the timing wise, it's kind of like any objective person can look at this and be like, wow, they either got really lucky or something else is going on.
Yeah.
I just think because we knew about the NIH and the NIAID and the funding and the partnership and all that with developing it. We know that that NIAID has a patent to this technology with Moderna. And we talked about all that many episodes ago, but the timeline was not something that at least I knew about.
I did not know about. That is news to me.
And then it
4 days after the declaration of the, they didn't even call it a pandemic. It was just a public health emergency. Yeah. 4 days after that, they are shipping the vaccine for the first trials. By
May 12th, the U.S. FDA granted the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine Fast Track designation. On May 29th, the first participants in each age cohort were dosed in the phase 2 study of the vaccine. Then on July 8th, 2020, the phase 2 study completed enrollment. So, I mean, the ball was already rolling before they even announced a worldwide pandemic on this vaccine, which, again, kind of suspicious.
Hey, thanks, Trump.
I know.
Operation Hyperspeed or whatever.
Warp speed.
Yeah.
Another little thing to mention from this article that I have highlighted. It says here, the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, BARDA, part of the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Preparedness and Response, ASPR, within the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, is supporting the continued research and development of the company's COVID-19 vaccine development efforts with federal funding under contract number, and it gives the contract number, the big long number. BARDA is reimbursing Moderna for 100% of the allowable costs incurred by the company for conducting the program described in the BARDA contract.
Oh, how convenient is that?
The U.S. government has agreed to purchase supply of mRNA 1273 under the U.S. Department of Defense contract.
So a company that had never put out a product.
No, in 10 years, no product, Moderna.
In 10 years, no product, suddenly got the entire project paid for. They didn't have to put any of their own money into it. And then got the contract, got product purchase, which did not exist. So they got a contract for a purchase of all the product for billions of dollars. So they didn't have to spend a penny on R&D, and they made billions of dollars.
The government came in and was like, hey, Moderna, look, you guys have... I know you guys are worth $2.4 billion and have never had a product out in the market. Here's unlimited supplies of money to build your thing. Just give us the patent, and then we'll buy it from you. Like, come on.
Yeah, right. And who is that guy? Who is that really famous guy who has a lot of connection and the finances wrapped up in Moderna? He's got that really strong connection. Oh, what is his name? He just got divorced.
Oh, you mean William?
William Gattes.
Gattes.
Oh, William Gattes. He's got a mustache and a sombrero.
Have you seen that picture of him like walking around with khaki shorts, and he's looking a little chunky, and
all the gray shirt.
Yeah, the gray. All the comments were like, "This guy wants you to eat fake meat."
Yeah, I like the flatten the curve comment.
Oh yeah,
Billy Gates out here not doing a great job flattening the curve. I think that might have been a deep fake thing.
Really? You think so?
I think somebody played around with that a little bit. Yeah, if you check the lighting, there's a strange light source that comes out of nowhere.
Okay.
But still funny.
Yep.
All right. Well, speaking of things that make no sense, Gons.
Oh, great.
Speaking of things that make absolutely no sense, let's head on over here to theglobeandmail.com. This is a Canada outlet. And it says here in the headline, why it's time to stop wiping down groceries and other COVID-19 cleaning measures that don't reduce transmission risk. Science! At the Confederation Center Public Library in Prince Edward Island, returned books are quarantined for 72 hours. Wow. Returned books are quarantined for 72 hours. You filthy books.
Filthy books. Get over there.
Always
isolate you, filthy,
other people's houses.
Books.
These books really get around. In Toronto, the library system's COVID-19 protocol on its website required that returned materials be set aside for 96 hours or more until they are safe to circulate. Every Loblaw banner store in Canada is still doing increased sanitation processes, including frequent deep cleaning of all areas of the store. Quote, in fact, we go above and beyond what was required, said Loblaw Director of Corporate Affairs, Mark Boudreau. I like Loblaw. Adding that some of the groceries chain's COVID-19 cleaning protocols might become permanent. Ooh, I mean, look. I'm not going to argue if a grocery store wants to clean more.
It's just sad that it took a fake pandemic to get everybody to clean up after themselves, you know? It shows really what we're all
crazy conspiracy theorist guns. Across Canada, individuals and institutions are maintaining the same deep cleaning and product quarantining protocol that came to be expected at the start of the pandemic. But experts say that it's time to move past hygiene theater. I know, I like it. Or cleaning behaviors that give people a sense of security and protection, but are actually unlikely to reduce the likelihood of COVID-19 transmission.
Fake news. Let me wipe myself down with bleach.
You know, I'm not going to lie. You do go out like the movie theater. I've been to the movie theater a couple times, bringing my beloved movie reviews to the show. And at the beginning of a movie, they play this video that is complete. I mean, I guess literal hygiene theater, where in the theater
they assure you that it's been cleaned and deep cleaned.
Yes,
and
they're like, don't worry, this is a safe space for you and your lack of germs. Everybody's wearing masks. Look, here's some video of our employees wearing masks. We also wipe down high traffic areas all the time. And you see, they're wiping down counters, wiping down handles, things like that. And we also make sure to sanitize every movie theater seat before we let in a new movie. And it shows this guy with this crazy sort of flamethrower gas spewing gun. And
what?
It's just like fogging. It fogs the whole, and he's spraying it on the seats at, this like futuristic sanitizing situation. I'm like, wow, they are really taking this seriously. Yada, yada, yada. You finish the thing. And the movie gets out, and I'm waiting in the movie because I wanted to see if there's a scene after the credits. Yeah. You kind of have to do that nowadays. So I was chilling, hanging out, just watching to see if there's a thing. No scene. Lights come up. Movies. They're like, okay, get out of here. I'm the last one there, and I stand up and turn around. And the cleaning crew is in there. The ones that should have had the flamethrower of sanitizing machine.
Yeah.
It is just The
Squirt.
grumpiest looking teen. No, not even a squirt.
No.
He just has a rag. And is a wet rag that he's just so haphazardly, just no gusto. He does not care. He's by hand wiping down these seats, and he's not wiping down the seats. I mean, one brush over the headrest and he's on to the next thing. So it really was just like this propaganda of sanitation that had no basis in reality. And, that's fine. I'm not scared.
Well,
I'm just funny that they have to like virtue signal and then they don't follow through with it.
I flip-flop on this issue here in my own mind, because on the one hand, cleanliness is nice. I like things clean and wiped down and all that, especially if you're out in public. On the other hand, the cleaning products that are being used probably aren't good unless they're using like organic stuff. Point. And also, our immune system gets stronger by coming in contact with all kinds of different things, right?
There's always that argument.
I remember, rolling around in mud and stuff when I was a kid and coming home dirty, just getting my hands dirty and all kinds of stuff. And, I'm fine. I probably ingested things that aren't exactly recommended by the powers that be in terms of cleanliness. Over time, and especially, a Japanese family, you got the raw fish, so.
Yes.
You got to, just soak it in shoyu, which is soy sauce. It'll be fine. But, but I feel like I have a pretty strong immune system. I don't get sick really ever. And if I do start feeling sick, I get over it fairly quickly. So that's the other side of the argument. It's like, okay, if we're going to have this crazy, Andromeda strain, hermetically sealed type of situation, the threat better be equally as scary. But
no, I agree. I mean, it's kind of a balance. I mean, on one hand, I would prefer that they clean the movie theater because you never know what's going on.
I agree with you on that.
But
hotel rooms and stuff, you always go.
There's other ways to get your germs and work up your immune system. Anyways, that was my own experience with the hygiene theater. Let's continue here. And the environmental impact of disposable wipes, the cost of disinfecting supplies, and the burden on restaurant and retail employees to maintain strict COVID-19 cleaning measures are further reasons to start being pragmatic and stop wiping down groceries and mail. Quote, part of the problem that we're having, I think, as infectious disease doctors and virologists, is getting people to understand that simply knowing that a virus is present in something on a surface or in an aerosol doesn't mean that's an efficient way for the virus to get itself transmitted, because viruses undergo all kinds of changes that can affect its infectivity. Its ability to bind to a receptor that is on a person that allows for an infection, said Dr. Gerald Evans, medical director of infection prevention and control at Kingston Health Sciences Center and Queen's University's professor. Yeah, that is one thing that did change, and nobody changed their habits. I think it was kind of the first red flag of like nobody's actually following the science. It was pretty early on. I think it was like maybe August of 2020, which I guess wasn't that early on, but August of 2020, if I had to guess, was when they came out and said like, oh, it actually doesn't spread on surfaces at all. Like it can stay there, but it's very hard for it to go from a surface into your lungs. It's you don't really have to worry about that.
We have to arrest the guy surfing on the beach by himself because he might get the coronavirus.
And all the wiping down and all the this and the that just continued when they basically found out. Yeah, you almost it was there was a number to it, but I believe it was under 0%, or sorry, under 1%.
Oh, by the way, just as a side note to all of this, I live near the beach. I went down to the beach a few days ago, and we're hanging out on the beach, like on the sand. No masks. Nobody's wearing masks. It was glorious. It was like,
that's great news. Those Californians waking up.
Yeah. I think I saw maybe one person wearing a mask, and I was like, what are you doing? Everyone giving him the stink eye,
There's always somebody that sort of just wants to stay that way.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Go on.
They're criminals. Gotta facial recognize them.
Yeah.
I know we keep getting distracted. I'll keep going here. Dr. Evans added that one of the issues with disposable wipes is that they contribute to, quote, the overall problems of trash. Dr. Peter Juni, scientific director of Ontario COVID-19 Science Advisory Table, said that in public spaces and community settings outside of household, the risk of service transmission is relatively low and can, quote, easily be addressed through conventional cleaning without deep cleaning, deep disinfection, and by using hand disinfectant. In outdoor public spaces, such as playgrounds, ultraviolet light also helps to decontaminate surfaces, Dr. Juni said.
You mean the sun?
Yeah, kind of funny. They do say ultraviolet light. Not always.
Stay inside, everybody. You might get the virus if you're outside, other than the fact that the sunlight can prevent people from getting, whatever. Then the vitamin D. Go on. Sorry, I keep distracting you.
Dr. Evans referenced one German study that showed grocery stores as a source of any sort of COVID-19 transmission was, quote, decidedly uncommon. Again, probably related to the fact that people don't really spend a lot of time in a grocery store, he said. But COVID-19 cleaning protocols, particularly in grocery stores, are comforting for some people. Yeah, I agree. Such as Toronto-based professional photographer and videographer Rob Stelez. Quote, honestly, I think it's mentally relaxing a little bit, said Mr. Stelez, who received his first dose of the vaccine last month, but still carries a pair of disposable gloves in his back pocket and disinfects every mail order package before letting it sit on his balcony. Says the guy's vaxxed. He puts on gloves, disinfects mail, and then lets it sit out on the balcony.
Where birds can poop on it.
Yeah, for others, watch out for the avian flu. For others, COVID-19 cleaning protocols have become a distraction. Dr. Lehan Parks, an infectious disease specialist and microbiologist through McGill University and Jewish General Hospital, who works in infection prevention and control. 3 lines of text it took to get through that guy's title. Said, quote, there's a cognitive dissonance between reality and what you perceive as being safe.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, cognitive dissonance being another name for mind control. Yeah. Quote, should we wipe our paperbacks in the library down or hold them in quarantine for 24 hours before we release them? I don't think that probably plays a significant role in transmission, Dr. Park said. Rather, this focus on surface disinfection takes away from, quote, what's really important, Dr. Park said, such as, quote, improving ventilation in spaces where we know we have the highest risk of transmission, like our long-term care facilities, etc., or reimagining physical space for individuals in workplaces and in institutions. Mike Barber, a copywriter and editor who lives in Toronto, said he used to quarantine his cannabis shipments from British Columbia before deciding it just added to his anxiety.
I think maybe something else was adding to his anxiety, but go on.
Mr. Barber said he now thinks of the burden of COVID-19 cleaning for grocery store workers, retail workers, and servers. Quote, people who are bearing the worst of it are people getting paid the least to do so, Mr. Barber said, and especially as the evidence is borne out about transmission, I've been very curious to see when businesses in particular are going to stop those practices. While experts agree that hand hygiene should remain a lifestyle habit beyond the pandemic, we can all agree on that.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands, just in general. It's not a political statement. And that getting vaccinated is the best form of COVID-19 protection. Okay, whoa there, mister.
Big jump. Wash your hands, change your genetic makeup.
Well, that is a good point of analysis, the equating washing your hands and getting the vaccine. Interesting. It's time for hygiene theater to come to an end, they say. Quote, I do think regardless of vaccine, we probably can ease up on a lot of the cleaning of our environment.
Dr. Parks, you're going to get canceled.
Yeah, bad wording. Can't not clean our
environment. That's super
Just
not
dump
green.
all your Purell into the ocean. Sanitize the fishies.
Yeah, well.
So
all right.
there you go. It's at least not, this is not it's not a huge outlet up there in Canada, the Globe and Mail, but it's something. And so
Yeah.
it's actually not a small outlet either. Okay. Well, there you go. Good job, Canada.
Nice work.
All right. Well, we've been going for quite a while here. Should we take a break? Thank some people.
We need to. I got limited time today.
We must. What time is it for you?
2:34. 2:34.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, no,
my
I'm
gosh. All right. We'll have to zoom through some stuff. Wow. Really zoom through some stuff. Okay. We need to take a quick break and thank some producers. That's right. I said producers. I'll keep it a little shorter today, folks. But the fact of the matter is we are on the value for value model, which means we don't, you won't hear any advertisements, no affiliate codes. We won't try to sell you any super secret Superman vitamin supplements. No, not here, folks. We have eschewed the ways of the advertising industry because of so many reasons. But to put it frankly, it's mind control, and it's bad for your health. It's bad for the world. Big companies like Google, Facebook, the Silicon Valley tech giants, they're the ones who make all their money from advertisement. In fact, the advertising industry is responsible for the other big problems in the world. Things like big data collection, privacy concerns, facial recognition, corporations teaming up with the government in order to control the people. It's all wrapped up in advertising. Advertising is a practice in mass mind control. And it's got its roots not only in the U.S. government, but also some strange, esoteric, occultish type of folk. And so, you know what? It just didn't seem right for us to take the easy way out, just say yes to all these offers for advertising that continue to pelt us in our inbox here. But instead, we are taking a very unprofitable stand against the advertising industry, and it's called the value for value model. And it's simple. We create value. We do it 3 times a week, and we just try so hard at it. And if you get any value out of what we do here on this show, whether you've watched or listened to 1 episode or 10 episodes or hundreds of episodes, it's just an opportunity for you to put a number on that and put it back into the system and this is just very serious, that, the show only continues because of the support of the producers. And it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling for the producers. You take some ownership, take some responsibility for your own media future instead of just getting whatever for free and just letting advertisements come into your brain. And, it's kind of just a lazy way to go through your life. Instead, why not become a producer, support a show that you appreciate, that you get value out of, and become part of the team that makes it happen. And that's who we're going to thank right now. Now, here's the thing. There's many ways to support the show, become a producer. You can do it with your time, your talent, or your treasure. And we're going to start by thanking those who are helping out the show financially. We are truly grateful. We could not continue to do the show without the support of these producers. And if you're out there and you might not be taking this as seriously as some of the other producers, consider, what other forms of media are you getting that are free from the bias, not just free from the bias, but also free from monetary reasons for holding your attention in one place. That's very few, whether they got YouTube monetization or Twitch monetization, or maybe they do advertisements or have affiliate codes. I don't know. I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm just saying we need to consider the ways that our media are funded. And we take no corporate money whatsoever, because every corporate sponsorship is a form of censorship. Instead, we are fully funded by listeners just like you who join the team, become a producer. Now, the first way to do that is by heading over to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. That's patreon.com/CCNT. And Gons, we got a couple of producers coming in over there. Are you ready?
Ready.
First, I want to thank Jay Good coming in. It's a monthly producer of the show. Leaves a quick note here. Love the show. Only wish you would invite KJ on once in a while. I'm having brain surgery on Tuesday, and while I'm freaking out, I do look forward to some time off and listening to your shows. God bless. Oh my gosh. Brain surgery. Well, Producer Jay Good, we'll be praying for you.
Yeah.
You hear that, producers? Put Jay Good on your list.
Yes.
And we hope the brain surgery goes well. My goodness. And we'll be here for you to tune into once you're done and recovering. Let us know how that goes. We'll keep praying for you. Next up, we have producer Aaron, Aaron. Thank you very much. Producer Aaron coming in with a very generous monthly producership.
Yeah, thank you, Producer Aaron.
You are the man.
All right.
Okay. Next,
the man.
Now that's all for our Patreon producers, Gons. But hey, if you're out there, you want to support the show, you don't like Patreon, that's okay. You don't have to like Patreon. We support you. That's why we have canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. canarycryradio.com/support is a great place to become a producer. You can read all about the value for value model. You can learn about the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. You'll have some options there. You can come in as a monthly recurring producer. It's a great set it and forget it option. We're so grateful to our monthly producers. We don't always get to say thank you to you individually, but you're in our hearts. But if commitment is not your thing, you can go ahead and make a one-time producership in any amount. There's also cryptocurrency options, all sorts of fun things. Gons, who's coming in on the PayPal?
All right. We have many recurring producers on PayPal. We appreciate all of you. But for today, first up, we have Kim W.
Thank you very much. Kim W. coming in with, the gas price producership.
Yeah.
Kim W. says, keeping with the theme, this is the gas price in Estacada. Estacada might be my new gas station if I can time things properly. Okay. Kim W. always on the mission to find the best gas prices. And thank you very much. $3.24 is the gas prices in Escadada, if anybody's wondering. And I believe Kim W., she's on a 4-episode streak. So keep it going. Thank you very much, Kim.
I need to go to Estacada to get my gas.
Estacada. Yeah.
Or maybe we should just get more gas price producers from my neck of the woods. At least that'll be higher price.
Yeah, the gas price producers. Yes, that would be a different situation for you Californians. That's why we don't have any California gas price producers.
They're like, this is way too much. I need the money for gas.
It's not an option.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, producer Kim W. Next up, we have producer Cassidy C.
Thank you very much, producer Cassidy.
And she comes in with $3.33. God bless you guys from Mississippi 333. I don't know if that's that's like a code for her.
She's got the Illuminati handler producership.
Mississippi 333. Next up, thank you, producer Cassidy. We have producer Tristan H.
Producer Tristan, thank you very much, my man. Coming in with the was that the show number? Episode number producership.
Yep. Is he on a streak or no? Is he?
No, not anymore.
Oh,
let it go. Dropped it last episode.
Oh, okay.
Unless there was a mistake, but you're the numbers guy.
Me? Yeah. I'm not the numbers guy.
Well, okay. We're not getting into this.
Next up, we have producer Ciara.
Thank you very much, producer Ciara.
And
Ciara, she sent us a note.
She did.
Are we reading that note?
I think so. I mean, it was.
Are we prepared?
Not 100% prepared as always, but she did give us a quick update from the Florida meetup, and she says, "Hello. So my Florida trip to Florida was awesome. She said I spent a week at Disney parks and Universal, but did take some photos of some symbolism and other things I found interesting, and I have the photo up on the screen there.
Okay.
No RSVPs for the meetup. A lot of inquiring, but not for sure. Was this from?
Oh.
Is this the update? Oh yeah, it is. Okay. And then she says, I was able to meet an awesome couple who would like to be anonymous, but are part of the community. And the wife has been listening to y'all since the beginning. She's awesome. And we had a wonderful time. No voice memos or pictures. It was, but this weekend was crazy. And like I mentioned, they like the anonymity. Basil understands.
I understand.
Yep. And I hope that people will join the California meetup, and I'll promote the location soon. God bless. And yep, here's the image for those of you watching. Looks like there's a Basil sign. There's a pyramid, a glass pyramid. What looks
some
like
Buddhas.
Some Buddhas. It looks like a flat disc Earth on something. Yeah. Some kind of all-seeing eye mural.
Where was this? Disney World? Universal Studios.
Disney Parks and Universal. So.
Disney Parks and Universal. Okay.
Yeah, the all-seeing eye.
All right. Well, that sounds very fun. I want to go to Disneyland.
Yeah. Well,
maybe I should do a show from Disneyland.
Well, Disneyland is in California. Disney World is in Florida. So
I know. Well, I wouldn't go to Florida. I guess I could. It's further away, though.
Yeah, I made a YouTube
closer
video.
To Disneyland.
I made a YouTube video about my trip to Disneyland a few years ago.
Ooh.
And lots of occult symbolism going on everywhere. But
yeah. Did you get a churro? Did you eat a churro for your video?
I don't think so.
Oh, those churros. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, churros are all right. The funnel cakes over at Knott's Berry Farm are better.
Thank you very much, producer Ciara. And hey, everybody out there, look, I get it. Maybe it was a busy weekend, but you guys got to go to these meetups.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, producer CR. Next up, we have producer Alicia M.
Thank you very much, producer Alicia M.
No note. No nothing. But we appreciate it. Next up, we have producer James H.
Thank you very much, producer James H. I believe he's on a 10-episode streak. Yahoo. Good job. Thank you very much, producer James.
Do I get to play the streaker jingle?
Nope. Oh, yeah, you can play the streaker. Yeah, I forgot about that. Nice. Yeah, okay, good. I forgot about that.
Okay. Next up, we have producer Nicole H.
Thank you very much. Nicole H. has a note here. Hey, Basil and Gons, it's my birthday. Woo. Spreading the love with a pocket full of sevens. God bless you both.
All right, Nicole H. Did you want the...
Let's do it. Let's birthday
jingle her?
Yeah.
It's my birthday. Happy birthday to
Nicole H.
Happy birthday, producer Nicole H. And thank you for the $7.77.
And Nicole H. is not my sister. My sister's birthday today too. Remember?
Oh,
top of the show,
right?
Top of the show reference.
Okay.
Callback.
Yep,
Come on.
Yep. I got it. Cool. Good callback.
Happy birthday, Nicole. Next up, we have producer Scott K.
Thank you very much, producer Scott K. Also on a streak, keeping it going.
Yep. Oh, you want me to give him the streaker jingle too, or do you think?
Of course.
Okay. All right.
They're on a streak.
You know, you
coming in with
complain about not giving a thing, and then anyway, go on. Sorry.
I forgot about it. I didn't complain. $14.32. I wonder what it means. Thank you very much, Scott K.
Thank you. Next up, we have producer Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
Woo! Thank you very much, Sir Casey, the Shield Knight. Oh, actually, Sir Casey is also on a streak, and this is the 12th episode in a row. Oh my gosh, and I forgot to come up with a new streak name for this one. Well, I'm just going to come a running start at it. We'll see what the Holy Spirit provides. Sir Casey, you're might as well be walking on the sun, Sir Casey.
They're on the streak.
What? I don't know. That didn't make much sense.
I've created a world in which when people are on a streak, the titles for the streaks are, I've set myself on a course where it's just like an increase of temperature, on fire, heating up, on fire, lit, And I just had to pull that one out of nowhere. Might as well be walking on the sun, Sir Casey.
Eventually, we're just going to
It's hot up there.
Are we just going to have heat death at the end of this?
Yes, you are.
You go in a streak long enough, there's just heat death.
You are the purple core of a collapsing star.
All right. Thank you for
Let's
that,
keep going.
producer Sir Casey Shield Knight. Next up, we have producer Mark.
Thank you very much, producer Mark.
That's
Coming in.
Matti.
Oh, this is great. Yes, this is Ennu Matti, our microbiologist for the show here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and just a reminder, today's producer segment is dedicated to all the Canary Cry medical workers. That includes the nurses and the doctors and the researchers. Producer Mark coming in with 1995 and sends a note to recognize your dedication of show 342 to medical workers, doctors, and scientists. Here's my donation of $19.95. This represents the year I received my PhD in microbiology. Yeah, and 5 years after the Lord opened my eyes to the truth of the gospel and saved me. I know we poke fun, and rightly so, at Dr. Fiasco's quote, "Science is truth." But it is a true statement as long as the science is understood without biases and presuppositions. Yes, if only that were the case.
Yeah.
And as Romans 1:18-20 states, quote, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. For what can be known about God is plain to them, because God has shown it to them. For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world in the things that have been made, so they are without excuse." Wow, that's a great set of verses for scientists to keep in mind.
Yeah.
If you've been given eyes to see the truth by the Lord, everything in creation points to him, even in its currently fallen state. I'll leave you with the words from Hebrews 4:13 that I included at the start of my PhD thesis prologue, quote, "And no creature is hidden from his sight, but all are naked and exposed to the eyes of him to whom we must give account." God bless. Keep up the good work. Maranatha. Mark. Thank you very much, producer Mark.
Thank you,
What a
producer
great
Mark.
note, and congratulations on I guess it's not necessarily an anniversary of your PhD, but thank you. We're happy to take the opportunity to honor you and all the rest of the Canary Cry medical people who keep us honest around here.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, 27 years ago. Goodness
Yeah.
gracious. That's a long time ago. All right.
Are you calling Mark old?
No, he may have gotten the PhD at age 8. You know,
At 15, yeah, he might be a savant.
Savant genius. Yeah, you never know.
We're lucky to have you.
Yep. It's like I tell my wife, you know, she hasn't aged since age 21 or 27 is what I tell her.
Yeah,
you know?
that is true.
It's true, right?
Your
Yeah.
wife is some sort of, does she have a painting of herself as an old woman somewhere hidden in an attic?
Her age is trapped in some kind of strange magical paint piece. No, not really.
Okay.
Next
Good
up,
to know.
we have producer
Hey, make sure to tell your
Sigurd.
wife that I think she looks very young.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Just got to make sure.
keeping the
Make sure you say, I got to get as many brownie points as I can over there.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Next up, producer Sigurd the Beast.
Woo! Sigurd the Beast coming in with the $33.33. The Illuminati handler producership has a note here. Had to share the weirdest end times dream I had last night. All of Satan's minions were Cobra villains from G.I. Joe. Serpentor was Satan. Cobra Commander was the AC. Dr. Mindbender was the FP. And what is AC and FP?
And Antichrist and False Prophet.
Oh, of course. And the Baroness was the Whore of Babylon. Fun dream. Yeah, very fun dream, Sigurd the Beast. And also, producer Sigurd the Beast works in the medical field as well.
You know, I would be thrilled if the Antichrist really showed up as Serpentor.
Cobra Commander.
Yeah. Here's a little photo.
Serpentor is Satan.
Oh, Serpentor is Satan. Okay. Yeah. Here's Serpentor. on his Cobra flying device with a gun in the mouth of the star. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, producer Sigurd the Beast.
Sigurd the Beast.
Next up, we have, and lastly, he's the executive producer for episode 342. It is Ivan L.
Yes, thank you very much. Executive producer Ivan L. coming in has a note. I don't know any other way to say it, brothers, but I love you guys. Keep up the good work. Well, we love you back, Ivan L., and thank you for producing the show. And thank you to all the Canary Cry medical workers and researchers out there. We appreciate everything you do, keeping us alive, keeping us honest when it comes to us blabbing about all this medical stuff.
Yep. Reporting things we don't understand. Next, well, we're done with the PayPal producers. Other ways you can support the show is with your time and talent. The timestamps for episode 341 was done by Jade Bouncerson. Thank you to Jade Bouncerson and her little crew over there doing the timestamps. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
And also just wanted to highlight producer Josh. He's our resident story writer. Wrote a couple more pieces here. This first one is titled, let's see, Basil and Gons Grow Old, Part 1. A short story about Basil and Gons. And then there is also a part 2 to the saga that is Basil and Gons Grow Old. So those links will be in the show notes for anybody interested in doing some fictional or not so fictional, maybe prophetic, I don't know, reading.
I haven't read these ones yet. I'll have to check it out. I read the Basil and Gons Go to NASA. That one was fun.
That one was definitely fun.
If you guys have not read the Canary Cry short stories that Josh has been writing, get the links in the show notes. Head over to canarycrynewstalk.com.
Yeah, we appreciate that. This is the kind of, well, this is more talent. This is not just time. This is time and talent, I would say, to write something like this.
Yeah, of course.
So we appreciate that, producer Josh. Keep it up. And other ways you can produce the show is with your jingles, which we don't have any today, but we do have artwork.
One art, please.
And the first artist we would like to feature is our resident artist, or one of them anyway, producer Allie.
One art B, one art B, another one from Allie now. Here it is.
Thank you very much, producer Allie. Did a great job on this one. This is what is it called? Spatula fight? Is that what it is?
Spatula wrestling.
Spatula wrestling, yes, referring to the epic arm wrestling battle that is going to happen between the Flippies in space. We've got Canada Arm 2 on the NASA side, and we've got, I forget what the Chinese arm is called.
There's no official name. There was just like the ship or the craft or whatever it's attached to.
Yeah, see, you can't win if you don't have a name, China Arm. I'll call it China Arm.
China Arm.
China Arm 3.
By the way, it's not Canada Arm, it's Canadarm.
Yeah, okay.
It's one word, Canadarm.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to change the way I say that, but yes, it is Canadarm. Canadarm 2, which is weird, but it's okay. You did a great job, Canada. Canada, thank you. Thank you for Canada Arm 2, Canadarm. Anyways, also thank you to Allie for making this rendition. We finally got to see it. You know what? It is a dream come true where I have a job where I can say something silly on the internet, and then I get to see it come to life the very 2 days later. Allie, you are really making my dreams come true over here. And for those who are just listening, I don't know how else to explain it. Very well rendered Canada Arm versus China Arm. Arm wrestling with spatulas on the end of their little robot arms there.
Canada Arm, China Arm?
Yes, Canada Arm and China Arm.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I like China
Thank
Arm.
you, Allie.
Appreciate that, Allie. Keep it up. Next up, we have producer Dove, who came in with the...
This is great. This was okay. So this, for those who may have missed last show, they are talking about vaccinating bananas against a fungus that is going around the world killing bananas. And so Dove did a great job. Again, a silly thing we say on this show gets put into just beautiful full color here. So imagine, if you will, if bananas were anthropomorphized and had human arms and human legs and human bodies, basically just banana heads, which is very cute, also slightly nightmarish. But we've got some bananas here. They're going on a jog just in a beautiful city. I don't know which city this is, but it could be any city. It doesn't matter. Running down by the waterfront, down by the river, with some pigeons getting in the way there. In the front, we've got a very happy banana man running with his Canary Cry News Talk tank top on. He's got a big smile on his face, googly eyes, and no mask, exercising with no mask. Oh, filthy.
Showing his teeth.
Yeah, showing his teeth and a smile.
Couple canaries that broke out of the cage on his tank top.
He disgusts me. And in the back, we've got two also jogging cranky bananas.
Cranky banana couple.
Yeah, cranky banana couple wearing their leggings there. The bananas are starting to get the brown splotches, you know. Well, we all know why that is, because they're wearing masks and they're angry. And one of them's yelling out, "You're gonna kill Banana Grandma!" That's right. And that's what happens when you don't wear your mask, folks. You kill Banana Grandma. Get your bananas vaccinated. It's important, and do your part, or you lose your freedoms. Okay. Bananas.
All right.
Thank you, Producer Dove. This really was a real pleasure to have beamed into my brain.
Just all the lore is just
I love it. I love it so much.
And lastly, we have producer Debbie just barely getting past the deadline for this episode in terms of art.
And thank you, Debbie, for recognizing that you were late on the art, but it's okay. You did such a great job. We did the background work it takes. It's not nothing. Gons has to press some buttons and do some computer stuff to get it on the screen, but he did it because you killed it. Thank you very much, producer Debbie. Coming in with, this is a couple of magazines laying on a table if you're just listening. One of them is Time Magazine, Person, in quotes, of the Year. And it's a beautiful rendition of Space Flippy. Yes, that's right. Person of the Year, Space Flippy. We've got a beautiful sort of space background with Flippy, the robot arm, floating around, doing his space work, the good work he does up there. And underneath the Time magazine is a Bon Appetit magazine with a frying pan thing, maybe an iron skillet with something cooking. And the byline is Flippy, from fry cook to gourmet.
Very good.
Flippy really is making headlines, man.
It took me a second to realize that this was something that producer Debbie put together. Yeah, I was like, where did she find? Oh, she drew this.
She's got such a finely honed realism aspect of her art, which is appreciated. We appreciate all the fine art of our artists. But Debbie, you hold your place in our hearts. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it for the break. We are basically at my exit time.
I know we're doing a bad job. I think we need to read this note. Do you want to save the note? I think we should read the note. Okay.
Oh, the note. Yes.
Yes, we need to read this note. Yeah. We got a note from, let's see, Paul G. He's one of our recurring monthly producers. And if you don't know, Paul G came in on episode 333 for our Knighthood special. And it was very heartwarming. He used the opportunity to dame his mother, who is Dame Sissy Sue of Sassafras. Mm-hmm. And we have an update about Dame Sissy Sue of Sassafras. Here we go. Basil and Gons. I wanted to write you a quick note to let you know my mother, Dame Sissy Sue of Sassafras, has been released from nursing home prison. In her memory.
Hallelujah.
And her memory shows great improvement. I want to thank you, the Canary Cry community, and producers for diligently praying for my mother. Getting to hug my mother for the first time since November 2019 was an answer to our prayers. Praise God. I would like to do something to celebrate this blessed occasion. I was thinking about commissioning a piece of artwork from the Canary Cry Artists Guild. I propose a challenge to create a logo or something similar to represent the Canary Cry producers. I will donate $100 to the show in the name of the winning artist. They will receive full producer credit and will count towards their knighthood. What do you think? I think that's a wonderful idea. The note continues, my suggestion is to present the challenge on a Monday and have the artwork submitted for Friday's show. This will give the artist a week to produce their piece. I will then review the artwork over the weekend, select a winner, and the winning artist will be announced on the following Monday's show. Please let me know if you have a better recommendation on the show to present this challenge. That is a great question. Let me see here. Create a logo or something similar to represent the Canary Cry producers. Okay, well, represent the Canary Cry producers. Okay, I see. So we're looking for a logo for the Canary Cry producers. And what do you think? Do we want to just put this out here now and then officially announce it on Monday to do the... I think giving the producers a week or more to really fine tune something is a good idea. We can just announce it now, and then we'll mention
it, and we'll mention it again Friday, and then maybe Monday we'll open it up officially. I don't know.
Yeah, and here's what I would suggest is maybe give a week to send them in. So we'll announce it now. So if you're an artist out there, you want to make a logo for the producers, and send it in. We need to get they can send it straight to us, and then we can send it to Paul. And then, because I think he's judging this situation.
Yeah.
So, because we don't have an email for Paul. So here's what we'll do for now. And Paul, you can always tell us otherwise. But if you're out there, you want to make a logo for the Canary Cry producers, do that. Send it to canarycryradio@gmail.com. We will forward everything on to Paul so he can take a look at everything. And we will announce the winner next Friday, not this coming Friday. Next Friday, which is the
4th of June. Are we in June?
4th of June.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, that's great. And oh my gosh, Gons, my heart just jumped with joy when I heard that Dame Sissy Sue was out of nursing home prison.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't want to say anything out of turn here, but yes, hearing about your situation, producer Paul, with your mother really broke our hearts. And I know the producers went to fast work, intercessoring on her behalf. And we're so happy to hear that she's out. I don't want to get the background story wrong, but I believe that she really had a problem after she was forced to get the vaccine, and her memory, her Alzheimer's, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's Alzheimer's officially or what, but her memory showed much worse or much more of a decline after getting the vaccine. So I'm happy that things are looking up, and you can hug Dame Sissy Sue of Sassafras. Give her a hug for all of us here at the show. Okay.
Jared in the chat is saying that Canary Cry producers or producers, initials CCP.
Yeah, he did say producers. Don't put that on the producers. CCP. Oh, you caught us. We're owned by China.
Commie Cry Radio.
I think we're the only, I don't know, but there certainly are very few sort of truth-seeking shows that are lighthearted enough to make fun of ourselves.
Yeah. Well, we do have this too. I don't remember. I think this is. That's all we are, you know?
Yeah, that's us. That's us. The commies spreading propaganda. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get moving, Gons.
Yeah, and gotta be quick here.
I will give you, should we just say, you have full reign to skip anything we need to skip.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, y'all, wake up.
Well, I do want to get through this, or just at least summarize some of the things here, because It's a lot happening at the same time, and that is a 4 Horsemen of the Technocalypse sighting, which we'll get to here.
The 4 Horsemen of the Technocalypse.
Anytime you see the 4 Horsemen, it's something special.
TheIntercept.com. Senate preparing $10 billion bailout fund for Jeff Bezos' space firm.
What?
Yeah, Bezos.
Getting a bailout as a space firm?
Yes. Bezos' Blue Origin lost its bid for a major NASA contract to Elon Musk, but the Senate is ordering the agency to give a second one now.
What?
Jeff Bezos' space flight company, Blue Origin, has lost a multi-billion-dollar contract to Elon Musk's SpaceX. Congress is preparing to the ground for Bezos to win a contract anyway, ordering NASA to make not 1 but 2 awards. The order would come through the Endless Frontier Act. I'll tell you one thing that's endless is the money printing going on.
Yeah, that is the endless frontier, is we can give away as much money as possible. This is your tax dollars, folks. This is the government being mommy going, hey, share with your brother.
Yeah.
Hey, Elon, no, share your $10 billion with your brother.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah, the Endless Frontier Act, a bill to beef up resources for science and technology research that's being debated on the Senate floor this week. An amendment was added to that legislation by Senator Maria Cantwell, a Democrat from Washington, to hand over $10 billion to NASA, money that most likely would go to Blue Origin, a company that's headquartered in Cantwell's home state. So there you go. I mean, I don't want to belabor the point, but that's I don't know. What's the point of having anything if they're just like,
it's corruption. This is corruption.
No
I mean,
kidding.
this is as okay. We're going to become Commie Cry Radio for a second. When you hear Bernie say like, oh, there's socialism for the rich, but there's not socialism for the poor in America. He's not entirely wrong. And this is a great example. Elon Musk put in the work, got the contract, and as far as in a private space agency goes, Elon is killing it. SpaceX is the best. Blue Origin lost the contract because they suck at space travel. And they lost the contract.
Propaganda for the space travel.
The contract goes to Elon, but it doesn't even matter. Can you imagine if you had a business and you fight and you're a better company and you get a contract and then the company or whoever just gives money for no reason to your competitors?
Yeah, well, so, yes, we will be Commie Cry Radio and agree with Senator Bernie Sanders, who actually stated about the $10 billion amendment to eliminate it. He said, quote, "It does not make a lot of sense to me that we would provide billions of dollars to a company owned by the wealthiest guy in America." Hey, I'll give him a cookie for that one. Good job, Bernie.
The government is giving Jeff Bezos, richest man in the world, $10 billion for what? For not having a good space company. He gets $10 billion. Stupid.
Come on, man.
It's crazy. It's outrageous. This is one of the most outrageous. That just shows who's really in charge of this country.
Yeah, well, that's not all, because they came out of the news today, CBS News. Amazon to buy film studio MGM for $8.45 billion. I think we know where that $10 billion number's coming from. They're like,
Bezos got, oh my gosh, Bezos got $10 billion from the government, turned around, bought MGM, one of the biggest legacy film companies in the world, and still had $1.5 billion left over.
Yeah, I think that was the deal, Hey, I want to buy MGM. I don't want to really use my own money, especially I got divorced recently, only worth half as much as I used to be. Government, hooks me up.
This guy's evil. He's an evil genius. He really is Lex Luthor.
Yeah, well, yeah. Behind
he just
the TV,
is.
the buying the film franchise that has shows or movies like Rocky and James Bond.
Yeah, well, recently put out Wrath of Man, which is the worst written movie I've ever heard. The whole movie just wore a fedora the whole time. It was a fedora wearing pinstripe movie.
The deal is Amazon's biggest purchase since acquiring grocery chain Whole Foods for $13.7 billion in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Just more monopolizing by Mr. Bezos. But just one thing to maybe go against the Bezos empire here. This is Wired.com. A new antitrust case cuts to the core of Amazon's identity. The Washington, D.C. Attorney General claims that the company obsessed with satisfying customers is actually screwing them. What the headline says here from Wired.com.
Mm-hmm.
I'll read a couple paragraphs just to get an idea here. Bezos' obsession with customer satisfaction is at the center of Amazon's self-mythology. Every move the company makes in this account is designed with only one goal in mind: making the customer happy. If Amazon has become an economic juggernaut, the king of e-commerce, that's not because of any unfair practices or sharp elbows. It's simply because customers love it so much. The antitrust lawsuit filed against Amazon on Tuesday directly challenges that narrative. The suit, brought by Carl Racine, the Washington, D.C. Attorney General, focuses on Amazon's use of a so-called most favored nation clause in its contract with third-party sellers who account for most of the sales volume on Amazon. A most favored nation clause requires sellers not to offer their products at a lower price on any other website, even their own. According to the lawsuit, this harms consumers by artificially inflating prices across the entire internet while preventing other e-commerce sites from competing against Amazon on price. Quote, I filed this antitrust lawsuit to put an end to Amazon's ability to control prices across the online retail market, Racine said in a press conference announcing the case. And it goes on here. One of the things that I think is interesting about this is that, you know, there's I've known a few people who have made Amazon their business, you know, like drop shipping or whatever, you know, selling on Amazon. And a lot of it has to do with like buying stuff from Alibaba in bulk, you know, labeling it your company, whatever, and then reselling it on Amazon.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if this is just like, hey, you know, we're taking down Amazon, kind of a backdoor China move to like, hey, we want full control of the market in terms of, you know, selling directly to the West.
Sure.
That's one possibility. The other possibility is that this is, you know, simply to slow down this whole concept of people just being able to, you know, have businesses on Amazon in general.
So is this an actual suit? What exactly is happening?
I think it's an antitrust lawsuit. Yeah.
Huh. Wow. Interesting. The timing on this is crazy.
I know.
Lining up with the China antitrust stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Coincidence? Did Biden get jealous and sort of, or did he get some sort of signal that it's time to do this?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It could be to take down Amazon.
Weird how America doesn't do it until after China starts doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. We reported on that China stuff last episode, if anybody was wondering what we're referencing.
Yeah, of course. We did a big breakdown of the antitrust stuff happening in China and lamented, why doesn't this happen in America?
Mm-hmm.
And here we go a week later.
It's starting to happen.
Strange how that happens. Do you think Biden listens to the show?
Come on, man.
Oh, no. He listens to our show and then he compliments us.
Oh, it's really a productive segment, man.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks, Joe. Hairy Legs Joe.
You want to keep moving?
Yeah, keep moving. We got this from the Space Pope Reptilian.
Space Pope Reptilian.
I continue to watch Futurama. We've been getting some good clips from Futurama.
All right.
And I saw one of the Space Pope Reptilian episodes. It made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Nice.
The headline, this is from the Guardian.com. Pope Francis queries Vatican media's ability to reach an audience. Pope Francis has challenged Vatican media employees to justify their continued work, asking them how many people actually consume their news in a critique of the office that costs the Holy See more than all its embassies around the world combined. Wow, sounds like a great gig for those bloggers over at the Vatican.
It's like just always pro Pope, right?
Yeah, if you're looking for production work, it sounds like the Vatican is spending money. Francis visited the Dicastery for Communication, Vatican Radio, and the headquarters of the Vatican's newspaper, L'Osservatore Romano, which is marking its 160th anniversary. He appeared to use the occasion to lay down the gauntlet at a fraught financial time for the Holy See. Facing a major pension funding shortage and a projected €5 million deficit this year, Francis has ordered salary cuts from between 3% and 10% for Vatican employees, both lay and religious, and paused seniority bonuses for 2 years. Ooh. Francis has vowed not to fire anyone to offset the economic crisis created by COVID-19 and the pandemic-related shuttering of one of the Holy See's main sources of revenue, ticket sales from the Vatican museums. But this is a weird twist of events there. But in a warning of sorts to the Vatican communications staff, he opened the unscripted remarks on Monday with a pointed question. Quote, "There are a lot of reasons to be worried about Vatican Radio, L'Osservatore, but one that touches my heart: how many people listen to Vatican Radio? How many people read L'Osservatore Romano?"
He's asking
Francis
for some data analytics.
Show me the demos, baby. Show me the numbers.
Hey, Pope, if you get on the back end, you log into the back end of WordPress, you might be able to get some numbers yourself. You don't have to ask people. Anyway, sorry. Go on.
He said their work was good. Their office is nice and organized. Great. But there was a danger that their work doesn't arrive where it is supposed to. He warned them against falling prey to a lethal functionality where they go through the motions but don't actually achieve anything. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine the Pope questioning your work like this? Yeah. The question has been posed many times since the Vatican's communications office consumes more of the budget than any other department. According to the latest figures, the Dicastery for Communication had a €43 million budget for 2021, about 20% of the total. Its expenses are greater than the combined expenses of the 10 smallest Vatican departments. The Vatican has long justified the costs because its communications operations are at the core of the Holy See's main mission, to communicate the Catholic faith to all corners of the globe. The cuts Francis has imposed across the board have sparked a minor revolt among Vatican employees. They penned a blistering open letter on Thursday expressing their dismay and profound discouragement at the cuts, lack of overtime, and uncompensated increased workload, which they said didn't conform to the Catholic Church's social doctrine. They lamented in particular the great disparities in pay and benefits, especially for some lay managers and outside consultants on whom the Holy See relies heavily to oversee and clean up its finances. Quote, "One cannot ignore the economic difficulties that families are today called to confront as a result of the pandemic," they said in asking for a meeting to discuss their concerns. Ooh, yikes. Okay. Sorry, Vatican employees. It's not looking great.
A little interesting side note that differentiates, many of us who listen to this show with the Catholic Church is, their whole purpose for having a communications operations is to communicate the Catholic faith to all corners of the globe.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, which is different from the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
which would have a direct
effect
on one's salvation.
We do have Catholic listeners. I don't know if they're persistent, but I know we've had Catholics tell us that they listen to the show. They don't like the Space Pope Reptilian jingle, understandably. But yeah, I wonder, like as a Protestant, that stands out to us. Like when it says we are here to communicate the Catholic faith, it does stand out as like, wait, why the Catholic faith? Why not the love of Jesus? Or why not the gospel message of, the gospel or whatever? I wonder if that even sort of is a red flag. Might be a bit of a harsher word than I'm looking for, but I wonder if that dings in their mind when they hear that. Let us know, Catholics. What is your thought about that?
Yeah, that would make sense. All right, one more story because I gotta get out of here.
I
go
know.
Pick up the kid. This is a New World Order story.
A new world order can emerge.
Oh, yes, it can, old President Bush. TroyMedia.com. Is a new world order on the horizon for the energy sector? The world must act quickly on climate change, says the International Energy Agency. To meet the net zero emission targets and limit the worst impacts of climate change, a sprint is absolutely essential, says Paris-based IEA, the energy watchdog for the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Reaching net zero emissions will require a huge decline in the use of fossil fuels, falling from almost 4/5 of total energy supply today to slightly more than 1/5 by 2050, the agency said. To meet the emission targets, the report underlines that oil demand can never rebound to its 2019 peak of 88 million barrels per day and must decline nearly 75% to 24 million BPD by 2050. It also envisions a 90% reduction in coal use and a drop in natural gas usage by 55% by 2050. Okay, all right. I mean, they're asking for a lot there in terms of reduction.
Well, that's the plan.
I know that's the Green New Deal, baby. I know it's the Green New Deal. But isn't a lot of the coal stuff like pretty clean now? I thought it was not the same kind of. Anyway, not to get into it.
When it comes to the energy industry, the propaganda on both sides is very strong. Yeah. I've seen a lot of stuff that the coal industry is not as bad as it's made out to be by all those hippies, millennial hippies, and but I have seen some like pretty crazy things where it's like, oh, coal actually cools is better for the earth. We got to burn coal to keep the earth going. Burning coal fixes climate change. I'm like, okay, well, that's probably also not true, but somewhere in the middle, I bet.
Fatih Briol, B-roll, the IEA's executive director, stressed that to hit net zero objective and achieve the 1.5 degrees Celsius target, the global energy order, quote, requires nothing short of a total transformation, end quote. The IEA laid out more than 400 recommendations spanning all energy sectors and technologies for what needs to happen and when to transform the global economy from one dominated by fossil fuels into one powered predominantly by renewable energy. No new coal-fired power stations should be built unless they include technology to capture their emissions, it said. By 2030, it says solar and wind should be scaling up at 4 times the speed they did in 2020, and by 2035, there should be no sales of new internal combustion passenger cars. What's going to happen to my car? I'm still paying it off. What about like Jay Leno and his like big car collection? He's just not going to be allowed to drive his like 1920.
Guns, the rich will be able to do whatever they want.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, you won't be able to drive a gas car. Leno's going to be fine.
All right. The report identifies batteries, hydrogen electrolyzers, and direct air CCUS, that's carbon capture, utilization, and storage, a method used using chemical reaction to capture carbon dioxide from the atmosphere as the largest opportunities to reduce emission. And it goes on and on and on about what they need to do. Part of this, in my opinion here, and this I wouldn't call it a full prediction, although I think it ties to the alien thing we've been talking about, is if the part of the renewable energy, all this, the Green New Deal, all this stuff, I think is going to heavily align to some kind of advanced technology that will be either revealed or maybe pursued as a result of the whole UFO UAP disclosure.
I don't think that's out of the question at all.
Because ultimately what we're talking about is technology that is so far advanced, right? We have no idea, or physics needs to be rewritten and blah, blah, blah. Well, if there is an example of these craft that are not using propulsion, especially like jet propulsion to move, they can start moving in that direction. And I think it's going to be hijacked by the green movement and all that kind of stuff, which
it is sort of the missing link.
It is.
It's
to get here that quickly, we need literally like a new physics or like a new science to integrate all of it together.
It's the higher power missing, ideological missing link.
Right.
You know, where it needs it literally, you know, they've got the morals, they've got the ethics, they think, you know, they claim to have the science on their side, but there needs to be this sort of, you know, if you think about sort of the mythical archetypal construction of PSYOP, you need you need it handed down from on high.
Right.
And on one side of the ideology, there's God. On the other side of the ideology, they've tried to make it science, but it just hasn't quite captured the ideology like they want it to. It needs to come on high from something else. And I think that'll be the aliens, or at least, you know, that makes sense.
The narrative of the
that
aliens
would be
or whatever.
The missing link that would just really lock that in.
Yeah. And it'll bring, because what needs to happen is people that not just socially, it's already kind of happening, but to the practical level, it's got to become inconvenient to use oil and gas emission, all carbon emissions, all that stuff.
Right.
The technology we have now, combustion, it's got to become inconvenient to the point where it's like, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it to continue on with that unless you're like, nostalgic about the 1900s or something, or a museum or something like that, you know?
I mean, that's a good point. Yeah. Nostalgia is always the toxic impulse to keep.
That is true. And I think we don't need to look any further than Elon Musk, his tweets about energy and Bitcoin and all that to get an idea of where this is all headed, by the way.
Yeah.
Just to get a glimpse.
Him buying in again was one big step in that direction that couldn't not happen.
Right. And the recent crash being due to him saying, "Oh, Bitcoin is all the produces carbon emission, blah blah blah," and some of the stories he cited, the articles he cited, were pretty heavily debunked. It was misleading articles on it, but
a lot of lying with statistics.
Yeah. Okay, I think we gotta finish up here.
Let's do it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry, we had to zoom out of here a little bit quicker, but it just happens.
Still
sometimes.
Close to 3 hours.
Yeah. We will be back on Friday, the 28th, Friday, May 28th. So put it on your calendar. Make sure to tune in on Friday. Turn on your notifications. Make sure to do that. That's always a thing. And even if you think you have them on, double check them. And while you're at it, go ahead and like and subscribe.
Subscribe, bell button, all. Like, subscribe, bell button, all.
Woo! Okie dokie. And I want to give a big old thank you to our producers of this episode 342. Producers Jay Good, A.A. Ron, Kim, Cassidy, Tristan, Ciara, Alicia, James, Nicole, Scott, Sir Casey, the Shield Knight, and let's see here. Oh, producer Sigra the Beast. And to our executive producer of episode 342, Ivan L. Thank you so much. And shout out to Sigra the Beast and producer Mark, our Canary Cry medical team, and to all the rest of the doctors and nurses and researchers and cool guys out there. Thank you for being tuned into the show.
Don't leave out the ladies.
You're right. Thank you. And also thank you to Jade Bouncerson for the timestamps. Thank you to producer Josh for the fan fiction. Loving it. And thank you to all the artists, Allie, Dove, and Debbie. Let's see here. And like I said, we'll be back on Friday the 28th. And remember, we'll need some producers for Friday's show. You know what? I think we had a couple of first-time producers for this episode. And you know what? I always get a little bit of a flutter in my heart when I see somebody new support the show. So, of course, I love the warm-hearted feeling I get when people come back to produce the show. But I get that, that little flitter when somebody new does it. So if you wanna make me feel something again, and you've never produced the show.
Wow, that's quite the pitch. Make me feel again. Make Basil feel again. Oh, man. If that's not guilt tripping you into...
You can make me feel something again by producing the show. Head on over to patreon.com/CCNT or head on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. canarycryradio.com/support. There's all sorts of great stuff over there. Hey, here's the thing. You're going to go there and the page is going to look a little weird. It's just kind of what it is. It's broken. We're fixing it. I promise. But you can figure it out. I believe in you. But you can also support the show in many other ways, such as artists, jingle makers, musicians. Create something for the show. Send it on over to canarycryradio@gmail.com if you like it easy, or canarycryradio@protonmail.com if you like to keep it secret. Go on now. And send us a cool piece of art. We'll feature it on the show on Friday. Also on Friday, I'll be reading ratings and reviews. So if you have not done it, I'm talking to you, listener. Yes, you. Yes, the one listening to this. No, not everybody else, just you. Leave a rating and a review for the show. It's very important that we get ratings and reviews on a pretty sort of ongoing basis because it helps the algorithms. Those iTunes algorithms share the show with people that you have never even met, that you may never meet until you get to the pearly gates. So go ahead, leave a rating and a review. It's very helpful. And I will be reading those on Friday. But for the rest of you, share the show. Share it out on your social media. Send it to your friends. Just text it. You always got to do that. You got to spread the good word. And you got friends and family who are starting to wake up to the fact that the world is not what it seems, that they're being lied to on a daily basis. And you can have a part in giving them an area where they feel seen and they can maybe learn something or two. Send them an episode. They will thank you. I guarantee it. Let's see. And if you need any more instructions, we call it rattling cages. You just walk right up to them. You grab them by the cage and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. All right, Gons, any last words?
No, I gotta go. So thank you everybody for being here. Appreciate it. See you on Friday.
Friday, May 28th. Be there. Okay, thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. Until then, think outside the cage.
Bye-bye.
It's really a productive segment, man. Aborted feces.
Are you going to believe what you see or what I tell you?
Nazis are not welcome here.
Everybody loves waffles.
Are you going to believe what you see?
People don't even read their Bible, for heaven's sakes.
We were made by the aliens. Aliens? I tried to tell you.
Where are the aliens?
Aliens?
I wanna shake things up, shake things up. I wanna shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I wanna stir up some controversy. I wanna rattle a few cages. I wanna rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo.
Aborted feces.
I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo.
Come on, man.
You and you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on now in my people's zoo.
It's to live by.
You, yeah, you in my people's zoo.
They are scum.
You can't handle the truth.
We want a new age.
Demonic power. And melt those babies into candles.
I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo.
Everybody loves waffles.
I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you. You, yeah, you. You, yeah, you. In my people's zoo.
Vaccination.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.